Test, test. Are we live? I think we're live. So yeah, I think we will mix it up. Old world campaign. We are gonna play, as I said. So you have part of Mixer's Unlocker is that you can play with all of the options. So you can play with all of the minor factions, which in a mod like Old World mod is a lot of factions. Hey, Neof. So you can play with all the minor factions. So if you really want, like, you can play, like, if you really want to, like, start a new starting location, or maybe you're playing against another player and you actually don't want to play with your legendary mods and, like, you want to be really balanced, you can play it. Is there a lot of point to it? Nah, debatably not, but it's a neat little flexible thing if you just want to play, like, generic version of your race. So, once again, this whole area is chaos. So you see these lines on the map, this whole territory, this is basically just Chaos Dwarf lands. The whole thing. Some of them more than others. But we're gonna start down south. I have no idea who starts there. I have no idea anything. We're just jumping in. Let's have a good time. Once again, it is a little funny, but I have a bunch of DLC and I don't look, as I said before, getting Champions of Chaos is good for other things, and realistically, when the Glot can come out for Nurgle, I'm definitely going to be playing Nurgle again, so it's not like I completely wasted my time, but it is a little bit funny. Let's have a good time. So, I'm going to give you general advice for playing Chaos Dwarfs, but obviously I can't give you a one-to-one. My advice, if you're playing Jazzareth the Ashen in normal Immortal Empires, take your first settlement, move over to the third one, but stay within your own borders, keep recruiting, take the third one. Then you want to ambush bait Clan Victus. So you take one lord, you put him out in the open, you declare war on Clan Victus, and then you ambush stance your main army. And he will come in, because he only sees like a lord with no army, he will come in very aggressively with only like one army. Because the AI doesn't see you have a big army, they're not going to send all of their forces to take out one thing. And then you can hope, even if you don't ambush stance, you should overpower it, relatively speaking. And that's how you deal with like the 1-2 of the stand. I'll make a video on it at some point. The issue is, like, I like to make a twist. So I've been playing out Zhao Ming, not Zhao Ming, Yao Ming, the girl one. The girl dragon child. And like I've come up with a really funny way of dealing with Clan Ashen. So you join Ashen as their ally, dealing with their in a fight, dealing with their minor enemy, and then what you do from there is you betray them, because the whole fight, instead of actually helping, you don't help them at all. You just start magic casting on their poison wind mortar, because you know Clan Ashen starts with a poison wind mortar, which is a horrifying unit, right? So I take the whole fight and I just use my blimp and my caster to just delete that plague claw catapult, as well as just get some really casualties. And if you manually fight that fight, Snitch tends to go off and actually die against the greenskins. And so like just by manually fighting that fight, you actually get such funny results. So yeah, no, it's good to give Skaven a taste of their own medicine. Honestly, I bet you that he respects that a little bit. I bet you he respects a little bit of treason. He's a Skaven. He's used to it. I think he's chill about it. Honestly, that's my 2 cents. Now, you actually have to be careful. Now, here's the other thing you have to be careful with Chaos Dwarfs, right? Is that Chaos Dwarf, these things will break. These are demons. They break and you will never get them back. So just be careful. I was playing a fight where like somebody took over this side because it was multiplayer. So he played with these guys at the start, because it's basically the same army 1-to-1 as like what happens on the human side. My advice is take your lord and take your hero, and you use them to hold off melee infantry while your guns keep shooting. That's the idea. But like he took over the starting enemy, and he actually managed to hurt me rather badly. So like he managed to kill my demons, and I was like, fuck you, man. I made sure he regretted that forever. For the rest of the campaign, I made sure to bully him back. But that was a dick move. So we got some black orcs. I need to be careful with that. We need to pull back. We need to pull back. Now, sometimes the AI is going to dodge an ability, right? But what you can do, if they dodge it, I think honestly I'm a bit bad on the timing there, is like sometimes, this is a really terrible demonstration because he's just ignoring it. It's like you can force the AI to back up when you don't want them to move forwards. So like them dodging a spell can sometimes be beneficial for you because it means that they're not like charging at something you want them to charge. So for example, imagine they were about to hit my gun lines. You can, you can just like cast right about like here. And then because you cast it there, the AI will back up. And then from there you just, you know, you benefit. Yeah, they do die. I don't recommend using, like a lot of demon units in this game, they do die rather easily. So I don't recommend, I don't tend to favor demons. Like when you're playing Corn, for example, which one's Blood? Bloodthirsters are the legendary. So like Bloodletters, the minor ones, they die very easily. So you just have to like, let me keep him to shoot at that. So that make sure they break off the fight. Now that is a problem. Let me, okay. We need to be careful because we're going to start getting shot at. I don't really have an answer to getting shot by them, so let me just reposition the guns. I think we can afford to just win the fight. Okay, charge. We're getting shot. That hurts. Like, I don't recommend using demons that significantly in most campaigns you play as. They are usually worse. A, because the auto-resolve doesn't actually count physical resistance that much. So, technically, even if they did perform well, they don't count very good. And then B, let me avoid, look, as much as I don't mind too much killing my laborers, I don't want to kill my laborers if I can avoid it. So let me cast a little bit behind them, even if it's less optimal. Black orcs are still terrifying. There we go, we got good value. That was mostly clean. That was mostly clean. There we go. So just once again, you want to use your heroes, you want to use your lords to hold for your guns. Your entire, kind of like the Empire, your entire army of trash exists so that your really good units, in this case your blunderbusses and your fireglaves, actually do the killing. Those are the units that actually like do the killing done. Also, I really need to put the stream on ultra low latency in the future. So like, because there's quite a delay, because I'm watching myself do things like quite late into the battle. I don't know how to delay that. There's a lot of things that I need to learn how to stream better. But yeah, so your entire army exists to die so that your guns are getting work done. If your guns are not getting work done and you're not getting value out of them, then that's not the result you want, ideally speaking. You want to be shooting, you want to be getting those damage off. If you lose some greenskins, it doesn't matter. And yeah, the issue with, as you pointed out yourself, is like, I just hate having like 5 good units and the rest are trash. You are capped. You are capped. No, yeah, you are with worse frontline, but trust me, your wizards and your guns are better than Empire guns. Like, Fireglaves are by far one of the best units in the game. Like, you can, they are disgustingly powerful, especially without even like adding in their like buffs you can add them, right? So, don't count them out just yet. Let me just take the city. I guess we manually fight this. So the thing is, though, is that they are one of the harder factions to start off with because, as you pointed out yourself, you are capped. And then later in the game, they are by far the most overpowered faction in the game because like your caps don't end up mattering, so you can just mass spam really powerful units and you can just crush everything. So it's this awkward balance of they are a really fun faction. We're gonna go play through and we're gonna have a good time, right? But like, yeah, there are limitations to them. Am I strong? I think I am strong enough that I can actually win this fight and keep my I'm gonna keep one unit of these spearmen here because they're tough enough. They have enough health left that I can win. You want to use a slight bit of heal here because, you know, they are midgets. They are short kings, literally. So just a little bit of an incline doesn't hurt anyone, you know? We do have to be careful with their cavalry. They have a cavalry. One of these is a cavalry unit. It's probably in the trees. They have a cavalry though, so we do have to be careful about that. Let me take that. I think we're gonna take that over this side. We'll take that here, and let's do this. So yeah, they are a mixed faction. I think they're a thing. For me, the issue that I have with them in like multiplayer is like late game. You can just summon units, like, you know, you can do like a Skaven like Underway summon, right? Except unlike Underway, you are summoning a squad of these guys in someone's back lines, so it becomes very unfun to play with because, like, realistically speaking, there's not much you can do in response to that. It's like they die now. We are going to keep some units just in place just in case. I do want to jump those archers, but I don't want to jump those archers while the cavalry is still around. So we are going to run. We are in range. Shoot a whale, please. There we go. Once archers stop moving, then you cast on them. So once again, even if he tries to dodge, the advantage for me is, even if he dodge, at least he's moving, so he's not shooting. So that's another piece of advice, is like, casting magic that you know they're gonna dodge is not always a... Turns out he didn't dodge. Okay, the AI is being a dum-dum. But like, casting magic that you know the AI is gonna dodge, or targeting them when your Empire Mourners, which you know the AI is gonna dodge, is not always negative. It is sometimes actually very beneficial to do, because it means that they are not shooting, for example. We are doing good. We have cleared out the enemy here. We'll go target the other archers. So there are benefits to like wasting spells. And then the other thing that's beneficial with spells is morale breaks. So something that a lot of, like, even if you're like, oh, Max, why do you use Spirit Leech like on like a basic infantry? Is like, getting magic casted has a morale debuff, getting hit by artillery has a morale debuff, getting lit on fire has a morale debuff. So if you can just use various things that stack up these morale debuffs, you can get value you didn't necessarily expect from units, and there are benefits. So sometimes even if like, oh, this is not the correct spell to use on like infantry, like, right? Yeah, sure, absolutely agreed. But if you can morale break them, you don't have to kill the unit. Technically, I would want to chase these guys down and break them for sure, but I'd rather just focus on killing the next thing. Let's make sure that my guns, you see my gun, like the moment you break the guns, like break the unit, you can just chase them down with trash, right? And you don't have to fight. So it is good, like breaking units as fast as possible is one of those things like you should aim to do, because that way you save, you know, you can then send like a unit of trash to chase them down and make sure they stay broken. There we go. And then yeah, move your guns. So you take your gun unit and you position it out to the flank as early as possible. That's the difference between like a gun line that is going to be a bit stuck and a gun line that is like actually doing. Because like if you can, so you know, if you have a line and you have your line, they're clashing like this. If you can position your gun to the side shooting in, then you can just waste into them much more cleanly. Now, obviously, you're still dwarfs. So, unlike a lot of factions, doing a head-to-head battle is not the end of the world for your gun lines, because you can usually still shoot, especially, you know, like Northskins or like Chaos Warriors where they're like much taller than you. You can still get some clean shots on. But if you have the flexibility of like getting to the side in a fight, it's usually better to do that. That's my big advice playing Chaos Dwarfs. Yeah. Once again, I'm enjoying using guns so much more. So I'm glad we switched. I'm glad I mixed it up. I probably will play Tamarcon again at some point, because I should learn how to Tamarcon. I think it's one of those, like, it is a very popular lord, and I need to make a guide on him at some point. Oh, I think we want an outpost. I'm pretty sure this is the outpost region. Yeah, so you get the drill, and the drill increases your raw material. So this is a whole raw material problem. So my recommendation is I usually do a 3-to-1 ratio. So 3 outpost sets of settlements for one factory settlement. Yeah, Missile Cavalry. Now, here's one you should try. If you like Missile Cavalry, unironically, go play the Wood Elves. You are gonna love the Sisters of Twilight. They run, so instead of Missile Cavalry, AC-130 Missile Chickens. You are a flying Air Force and you massacre people. Trust me, I think you'll have a good time, actually. You should really, if you enjoy missile cavalry, enjoy it. Also, Elspeth can run a pretty mean missile cavalry. It's not necessarily my playstyle, but Elspeth can boost pistoliers pretty far, and like you might have a good time too. I would recommend sinking the points into warriors here to just get a little bit of a firmer front line. That's my advice. Always get the anti-large ones with shields over the unshielded ones. The shields make it worth it more. And I personally tear down this building on turn 1. And that this advice applies to you playing as the ones not on the mod. It is better to use the ones unmodded. So those are like my first few steps. You want to get, obviously you want to keep doing your skills, but we'll do that later. I should have checked diplomacy. I didn't check diplomacy on turn 1. But yeah, AC 130s. Once again, a lot of lords, you make them as broken or as not broken as you want it to be, right? I kind of regret like restarting the stream because I think I had the guy that there was a third guy, there was another guy watching and he's kind of left permanently, which is a shame. I think restarting a stream is probably not good for the viewership. But like, you can make or not make lords as powerful as you want them to be. For example, Volkmar, I could run a Nolan Ironside stack, and I can run a standard cavalry stack, and I can run like things that would actually be good on Volkmar. Like when you don't hire him as part of like, when he's like hired into your faction instead of like just being a, when Volkmar is running Volkmar's campaign, Free Company Militia can be really broken because you get a lot of benefits with them. And when you hire Volkmar as Confederation, you don't get any of those benefits. So running him with Pistoliers is completely suboptimal. But I enjoy it because like that's his meme stack, and I prefer the meme value of playing Volkmar more than I prefer the like the optimal. If that makes, I kind of want to take that, but I guess we should complete my province. So there's a lot of things that like, so my recommendation is you go and build this straight away in your capital, but you can also try to build that. So it's up to you. I'm going to build that now. Technically, what is the correct way to do it? And I'm telling you now, I don't like doing it as I'm just doing my own thing. Is like, you want to build Gorbaz Backstabber. I'm going the wrong way. You want to build Gorbaz Backstabber. I actually think I might have goofed that up a little bit. As soon as possible. Because, you know, you really want, like, Gorbaz Backstabber takes your crappy starting army and can actually make it something viable. So that's the way you should do it. So you want to get the goblin building as fast as possible. You want to get your sneaky gits, which are objectively a good unit, and you want to get stuff like that. I'm not doing that today just because I like to, I don't actually, I'm just not doing it, I guess. I prefer to build out my economy in like a permanent way rather than like get a temporary building that I have to tear down later. So I'm going to build the high-end dwarf building, the high-end infantry building, and then I'll build the goblin building in a separate building. But if you're going to play it optimal, oh, did we just have a crash? Did I just crash there? Hi, am I live? I think we crashed there for a second. So like, ah, damn it. Weird. I'm not sure if that's the mod or if that's like that's because the mod is too strong or like the connection had a oopsie. Who knows? I'm just not sure. It was working on Twitch, I think. Yeah, so you see I goofed up the pathing. So now I have to take an extra turn, which is very stupid. Yeah, mods mix things up, so I should have gone there. I like this one. It's completely unnecessary, but you want to go for, like, you can do envoys of the to the enclave is good. You don't necessarily have an issue with it. You don't have an issue with like getting like allying with your fellow dwarfs. So I recommend getting labor gain post battle. That's one you want to get relatively quickly. I tend to not favor getting, I prefer when I upgrade things, I prefer to focus on economy rather than focusing on military power. Now, if you are someone who wants to like really feel like you're like stomping the enemy more than you want to build up your economy, I perfectly understand that. And a lot of people do. So like, don't like take that for gospel. Like, a lot of this is like playing optimally and playing funly is not always the same thing, you know? So sometimes you're playing in a way that like building up your economy is very good for the long term, but it means you're delaying your like your military power early, and you're not quite getting the like the raw value you could get if you just like you're not quite getting the like firepower and the like uber stuff you could get if you just like powered through sometimes, you know, if you just built up like a strong army. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, because for example, that Nurgle fight, if I've been building up my armies instead of building up my economy tech tree that I was doing this whole time like that, maybe it was a winnable fight. Probably was, to be honest. But I also wasn't building Nurgle the best this week because I wasn't using like his infections. So like, it depends. If you want to feel completely overpowered on the battlefield, maybe work towards. When I play Empire, for example, I usually do growth, but then I go into the armies, the armor for infantry skill, because like that really helps for most of your campaign. But then I go right back to economy. So I get like, because I'm so used to playing Empire, I know which ones I need to get. So I get the armor skill, because like the value on that is massive. And then I just, I go back to doing standard, you know what? I'll get them back. I do not care. So I go back to doing standard economy stuff. Oh, here we go. Look, I didn't even need to build it in this settlement because I got it in that settlement. That's good. That's good. So let's start building sneaky gets. So Hobgoblin archers are really good. They are your early game missiles, and they're actually quite competent for your early game missile. But you need to make sure that you don't overpower the amount of frontline you have compared to you know, archers. Because you, like, once again, they will not overpower your guns. Your guns are still your best unit. So if you overcommit too much of like having a bunch of archers, then your guns are exposed, which is not what you want. This is the issue with this mod is like in the late game when you have a lot going on, taking a turn or two to like taking a second to like pass turn is not so bad. When you are playing the early game and you know your turns end relatively quickly, you feel it a little bit more. Yeah, I think realistically, this is good though. Like we're having a good time. We're having a good time. Yeah, I goofed up the not less than optimal pathing, but hey, live. Are you staying up or you need to go to sleep at some point? Because like if you need to go to sleep, I totally get it. Don't worry. At the end of the day, this is just me goofing off. It's going to be a less long stream than normal. I think I'm probably going to end it in about 2 hours. But, you know, if you are Turkish time zone, you probably don't want to stay up till 4 a.m. your time, unless you really are jet lagged. At which point, once again, I appreciate you stopping by. Ah, perfect. I'm glad that look, as I said before, I appreciate you stopping by. It definitely is good for morale. But yeah, don't ever like stay for like my sake, you know? So where am I going? I want raw materials. I want armaments. Do any of these give me armaments? They do not. So in that case, we want raw materials. Now we also want to think about it from a diplomacy. Like, obviously, caravans, regardless of where you go in the world, are beneficial because you will see a lot of the world and it opens you up to diplomacy. So when you play Cafe, you always want to send it to Drakenhof, because Draken will give you the von Karstein Blade, and the von Karstein Blade gives you regeneration. So like you're locked in when you're playing vampires. You unironically always want to go to Thingy Thing. But when you are playing as Chaos Dwarfs, especially in this one, you don't get that unique item. So you're not Titan. So just do whatever like works for you, like vision. Who do you want to be friends with? Who do you want to be allies with? But be careful. Doing the caravan exposes you up to Grimgore vision, which realistically, like pretty much whoever you play, you're gonna have to Grimgore vision. Now, you struggle with Grimgore, right? My advice with Grimgore is fight him, let him come to you. Don't fight him on an open field. Then, as he's charging up to your walls, just line up your guns and try to take as many shots into him as possible. You need to shoot Grimgor, because Grimgor is very powerful, but he's also very slow. So if you can just land shots into him, then retreat, and like let something die. So let a hobgoblin unit die while you like pull back again, and try to like rinse and repeat that. It's the best way to deal with him. The other option is just to ignore him, like just bog him down with like trash, or make him run around, and then like deal with his army. There are two ways to deal with him. It's not an easy lord, but once again, it's kind of the same issue of Vlad, where like Vlad doesn't have a mount. Vlad and Grimgor do not have mounts, so they are slow. You can kite them, you can make it work. The issue is that you can't rely on your like with whatchamacallit, Empire, you can rely on like artillery. If you Luminarch, if you wait long enough to fight Vlad with a Luminarch, you are gonna massacre Vlad. But Chaos Dwarfs do not have good anti-large artillery of pretty much any kind. Their anti-large is no bueno unless it's their guns. So you really want to use those guns. Make sure you get good value. So yeah, we're coming in less than. Oh my god, free units. I should manually fight this, but you know what? I don't want to. It's not going to be a very exciting fight. So once again, I'm being a little bit excessive on the outpost. I could probably afford to put one of those as a factory, but usually I like to do like. So some people like to do like 3 buildings at a factory and then one free outpost and then 1 factory in the same region. I tend to just build the whole region as one thing and then just change it after, like, and then do another region as a different thing. That's the way I do it. Is that the best way? I'd probably have to do some testing. That's just the way I do it. I can't guarantee that's the bestest way. And once again, there's some factions that I've played so much that I understand the like perfect ins and out of doing it properly. And then there's other factions when it's like, oh, do whatever's fun, you know? Yeah. Let me, slaves to the Black Dwarf. I'm not at war with anyone. Let me find some of my Chaos Dwarf servants. The Conclave, so, you know, your province, your fight. Look at that. See? Like, they're a whole province right in the middle of the industrial complex. That's a neat thing about this mod. Is like, because, so Drazov's whole lore is Drazov did a bit of an oopsie, did a bit of a fuck up. I think they're like threatened by him because he's kind of a newcomer. So he kind of got sent out to like the outskirts, where he's kind of just doing his own thing on the outskirts. Like, so that's why he's so far away when all of the other Chaos Dwarfs are much more in the center of the city. He is technically part of, like, Chaos Dwarfs are all in one part of the world. You're not going to find, like, Velustrian Chaos Dwarf. But he is still kind of being sent out to, like, the far reaches of the Empire, because I think he's a bit too radical. He's not really respecting the command chain, because, like, they are still dwarfs, right? So they like their hierarchy, and they like their structure to things. So having a guy that like is not respecting any of that is a bit of a not good thing. It puts him in a difficult position with his higher ups. So they can't kill him because he is very competent. And Chaos Dwarfs respect that competency. But you can just send them off to like the branch, you know, the branch on the other, you know, like the less successful branch, and just have them like sit around there and not like get their renown and the benefits he should be getting, because he should be treated like a big deal, but he's not respecting the hierarchy. So Chaos Dwarfs and Dwarfs are very similar. They both respect, they don't like Chaos, but they also have differences. So they do respect hierarchy, they do respect things, but Chaos Dwarfs is less of a hierarchy of age. So dwarfs respect age. If you are the oldest dwarf, you are probably the head dwarf. Chaos Dwarfs is still a bit of an age. There's a seniorship to things, right? But there's also still a hierarchy of competence. You are the head dwarf, but you're also the mostest competent, which is, you know, a technical scientific term for it. You are the head honcho because you are better than other people, as well as because there we go. I can find him, but he's not at war with anyone. That's weird. But you're also good. You are the best at what you do, and that gets you a lot of respect in Chaos Dwarfs society. Now, Chaos Dwarfs also have their versions of Slayers. So if you do a bit of a goof in Chaos Dwarf Society, once again, there's that always that one-to-one. You join the Infernal Guard. So if you ever notice the Infernal Guard, they'll have those red face masks. Those are soldered onto their heads. You get a mask on your head, and you do not take that off while you serve on the Infernal Guard. But the difference between the Infernal Guard and Slayers is that if you serve your time in the Infernal Guard, or you distinguish yourself, or you do all of those things, you will end up being able to take the mask off. A good thing I didn't declare war on who I was going to go declare war on the other region over there. Good thing I didn't actually formally declare war on them. So you take the mask off, so you end up with these like very dramatic facial scars. But you are treated with like just like normal. You are treated as like you served, you know, you kind of treated like a veteran. You served your time. You end up like not being treated unusually by your fellow Chaos Dwarfs, where like Slayers, they're supposed to die. So there's no like fix to it. You are very much gonna die. And then B, they are treated as like basically dead by most other dwarves. So Slayers, even though when they're still alive, by most other dwarves, they are treated as if they're already dead. You have a funeral for the dwarf who takes the Slayer oath, even before he's formally dead. It's this very like harsh culture about it, but it is just the way things are done. You know, I need to move all the way back over and go there. And once again, the other neat thing about Chaos Dwarfs is that Chaos Dwarfs, they can cast magic, you know? But have you ever noticed that, Astrogoth is on his, like, mobility scooter? We need to start dealing with, Astrogoth is on that mobility scooter because, always take the research tree. The research chair is what you want. They slowly turn to stone. So, yeah, they get paralyzed. So he has managed to last a lot longer than most, but he who is the greatest like wizard of their race is still like, I need to get the control down. Is still slowly turning to stone from the legs up. So he, instead of just accepting it and doing that, he built himself his exoskeleton that he uses in battle, which, you know, gives him the speed and all of that. But Chaos Dwarf, the ziggurats, so they are, you know, Mesopotamians. They have ziggurats and they have all of that. Their ziggurats, their pyramids are lined with the stone statues of their previous wizards, which is kind of like this neat detail. They're pretty cool. Like, they have a lot of lore. The issue is, like, they never really existed significantly as an army on the tabletop. Now they just recently been released in Age of Sigmar as the Hellsmiths of Heshut. So they're pretty similar, but they're also a bit different. If you want to go look at the Hellsmiths of Heshut for Age of Sigmar, you'll notice that it's a similar motif. They chose a different color scheme. You can still paint them in like the gold and red I would want to paint them in, and I'm probably going to buy them at some point. But there are some differences. Like, their guns do not quite look as good. If you look at like the Big Bull, type in like Hellsmiths of Heshut, Big Bull, you'll see what I'm talking about. The Big Bull looks damn cool. Hellsmiths Heshut. It's like one of those, either the Lord one or like the one that with the weapons. So what is he called again? Let me go find him 2 seconds. We're just gonna go to, we're just gonna go to the Warhammer store. We're taking a little break, 2 seconds. Let's go to Warhammer. Let's go to Jack Cookies. Let's go to Age of Sigmar. Let's go to, I think they're Chaos, right? Yeah, they are. And we'll go into the lore. So, like, once again, look at this thing. Now, I don't like him with the weapons. I prefer him with the guns. But like, look at your boy here. This is cool, and you can do him in like with red flames, and you can the gold and all of that, and it's fun. He is one of those like fun units. I like him. I like them a lot. They are not, so once again, their guns look worse. I don't like the guns as much. I need to get a wizard to like pacify this region. Do I have a control wizard anywhere? Oh, I physically can't afford a wizard. That is great. Anyone give me money? I am running a bit too strong of an army. I need to find somewhere that I can declare war. Here we go. You have a minor enemy. There we go. I am slightly now in the green economically. Yeah, they're fun. They are a new range, so they don't have quite everything you'd want, but they are expanding more and more, and they're fun. A lot of their units can be built in 2 different ways. So the advantage of that is like, if you need like a specific thing, you're not tied to. So it's very flexible. I have a lot of things, as I've said a few times now. I have a lot of things I still need to paint. So right now I'm not. There we go. We found a control. We found a control dwarf. So that deals with that issue. For some reason, I can't do my labor economy. Allowed until you own 2 or more provinces. So you see, normally I don't bother with that because by now I would have 2 or more provinces. But because of the mod, we're taking a little bit longer than normal to conquer 2 or more provinces. So like, they are cool. They look neat. They are pretty. They are. It's nice that Age of Sigmar is like taking things that didn't actually exist in Warhammer Fantasy and like expands them. But at the same time, I kind of wish they were more one-to-one with, because I have that emotional, like a lot of people, you know, I had that emotional attachment from Total War, because a lot of people who got into Chaos Dwarfs got into Chaos Dwarfs because Chaos Dwarfs are really cool in the game, right? Like a really cool in the game. So you don't see like the Infernal Fire Glaze and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they're not there. And then the last thing is like, obviously the big thing with Chaos Dwarfs is like Chaos Dwarfs are very rarely the front leaders in armies. So do you know that the Chaos Dwarfs created Grimgor? So you know, when every time you lose a Grimgor, just remember that you caused that. You literally, it's a self-inflicted problem. But more importantly, if you are an aspiring Chaos champion, you're here, you're the next big guy in charge. Oh, you don't know that Grimgor was... Okay, so the Chaos Dwarfs run slaves. They really like their goblin slaves because, you know, they're very low maintenance slaves. They're very like... They're not problematic. They kind of breed very easily. You can feed them on trash. They're not very high maintenance. The issue is for the issue is that they had a moment of like, you know, greenskins are still greenskins. They're still kind of stupid. What if we made better greenskins? So they started a breeding program. They started making better greenskins. And what you ended up with is they ended up with the Black Orcs. And they didn't ask themselves, is this a good idea? No, they didn't ask them, you know, the whole like, they always ask themselves whether they could, and they never ask themselves whether they should, because they made Black Orcs and they lost control of their slaves. So every time you lose to Grimgor in the entire game, remember that you caused that problem for yourself, because they had a slave revolt. He revolted. He managed to unite all of the Black Orcs underneath him. And then they just kind of broke free, and they really messed up the Chaos Dwarfs on the way out. So yeah, every time you lose to Grimgor, remember that you caused that problem. And the thing is with greenskins is nobody really knows how long greenskins live, because greenskins, they tend to die in battle relatively quickly. But Grimgor has existed for like 300 or 400 years, and because he never dies, he does. But he is fighting. They have that like Warhammer 40k thing where like the more they fight, the stronger they get. So they end up being like, he ends up being like stronger and stronger over time, and he's basically immortal. So it is kind of this like, they kind of created this problem for themselves, and they don't know how to deal with it. I'm gonna take that auto resolve. I'm not convinced I can do significantly better than that. They have a lot of numbers. Yeah, they just next time you suffer, next time you lose to Grimgor or you suffer from Grimgor, just remember that you caused that problem. It is one of those things. Like, so we're going back to Chaos Dwarfs. Chaos Dwarfs' role in fantasy is if you are the chaos champion. So you're the fresh chaos champion out of, hey Tarny, how you doing? Yeah. So yeah, it is true. Yeah, they just like Grimgor and like everyone deletes Cafe. Cafe wasn't a real player in like Warhammer Fantasy before, so Cafe just gets wiped off the map. Let me answer something and let me get right back to you guys. Let me just answer something, and then I'll explore more Chaos Dwarf lore. Okay, so Chaos Dwarfs, as I said, if you are an aspiring Chaos champion, you think I am the next big guy. I want to be ever chosen. I want to be the guy in charge. I want to conquer the world. What you usually do is Norska, as you can imagine, from most Chaos champions come from like that Norska region. I know that like in the lore they made, like in the game they made like Norska its own independent thing, but just think about it as like Norska is just basically like it's where Chaos gets its manpower. They are very like if you read through the End Times book, you watch like hordes and hordes of Norskins die, like get mowed down like grass, so that the Chaos Warriors, you know, in their black armor, are the ones doing the main characters. Like they are basically the chump change. They are treated as a chump change. They don't really have a real presence, and they're basically one and the same. It's the same with Beastmen. Beastmen are not real like characters. Beastmen exist to get slaughtered, so that the Empire armies get bogged down before the Empire champion shows up and like really puts them on the back foot. It's sad. If you're a Beastman player, you live in suffering. But now, once again, if you are an aspiring Chaos champion, but Norska doesn't have a lot of infantry, right? There's a lot of industry. So you make your way over to Zarnagrund and you're like, hey, I need my evil bad guy armor, or hey, I need my cannons, my hell cannons, all of those things. You come and buy it. So basically, they supply Chaos indirectly. They very rarely take to the field. There are some times when they do, but most of the time they are there as a supply dump. You go in, you buy your weapons, whatever you can afford. So if you're a minor Chaos guy, maybe you can't afford to like buy too much, but you can still get yourself some powered armor. You can still get yourself your cannons, and then with using that, you can go make your way and try to harass the Empire. But yeah, in End Times, they got Grimgore basically to death. So every time you lose a Grimgore, just remember once again, it's very lore accurate. Grimgore basically wipes them off screen, because once again, they weren't a real faction. Anyone who wasn't a real faction in the game got off screen very unceremoniously. Now, if you are Araby, which is a faction that is never going to be added to the game because their leader is Sultan Jafar, and you run things like it is basically the Middle Eastern stereotype in a way that probably like is not going to be like politically correct these days. So Araby is never going to be added to the game. Sultan Jafar is never going to be added to the game, but Araby got deleted by Skaven. Completely deleted. Cafe gets Grimgore, and I think they get Chaos Dwarf, and I think they got Skaven. Like, a few people triple team them, and like, Cafe gets completely off screen because Cafe didn't exist as the faction it is now. Cafe was just like a few lines of lore and like the Great Wall. So like, characters went to Cafe, and if you went to Cafe, you were like, ooh, like, that's fancy, you know? I'm gonna build this one as my economic province. Let me just make sure there is a special building here. What is a special building? So you always want to take into account your special buildings to like see like what it is. Yeah, control is good. Okay, so we're gonna build this one as my industrial zone. Like, we want to build armaments. Always build armaments. Cafe was like the Great Wall. Like, people went to Cafe. So Gotrek and Felix, of Gotrek and Felix fame, they go to Cafe. But they didn't have a lot of lore. Everything that is Cafe now was made by Games Workshop and CA collaborating, because Game Workshop wanted to add Cafe to the tabletop. They had like an old world, or at least they wanted to have it expanded a bit. So yeah, they're not a real faction. So because they weren't a real faction, Cafe got kind of deleted, which is kind of embarrassing now that like Cafe actually has real lore. Because it's like, okay, they had an all-powerful dragon emperor, they had like dragon children, they're one of the most prosperous empires in the world, and then they just got no diff off screen. That is the issue with like End Times, is like End Times makes it harder because like, so instead of like continuing the End Times like timeline, the old world is set 300 years in the future. So during the age of like Magnus the Pious and like so there is still an ever chosen. Chaos is still attacking, but it is before the age of Karl Franz. So there are some characters that are still there, like a lot of the like some elf characters. Where the hell did this guy come from? I didn't spot him. A lot of like elf characters and a lot of dwarf characters like exist, but they're not. I don't want to piece them out. I don't want to piece them out. I want to go back and kill that ogre, and then I want to go back and keep taking. The nice part about fighting ogres is that you can eat. There's no line of there's no line of sight obstructions. And yeah, but Nagash could have dealt with Skaven, because you see the nice part about if you're a necromancer and you're fighting Skaven is that it's kind of a win-win in both situations, right? Because if you are a necromancer and you're fighting Skaven, yes, Skaven have endless numbers. But if you kill the Skaven, which is going to happen because Skaven slays the trash, right? You have also endless numbers. So it can actually kind of like stalemate, where like you can get bogged down. It was something that like Manfred in the End Times, I've almost done, I'm leading the last one, but Manfred in the End Times book ends up in this situation where it's like, he's just basically pushing through endless tides of greens of Skaven, and he's making his way free because he needed to get the fell blade, so the thing that cut off Nagash's hand, he needed it to like bring him back. But like, every time, like, he was facing endless numbers, but the more he was killing, the more he also had endless numbers. So, like, it started becoming this, like, almost a stalemate until he broke it. And it was kind of this, like, awkward situation. It's like, what do you do? Do I want to fight this? Do I have enough front line to stop all of these ogres coming in? I'm not convinced I do. Sometimes you just accept the auto-resolve. Like, I think it would be very risky, because, like, a few of those ogres get into my lines, and it'd be the end of me. So we're sometimes you just like, I agree with your result, game. Good choice, good choice. We are gonna take Bloodied Bombardment, and we are gonna do. I like to build him as more of a sniper, like a magic damage sniper to deal with like important things, rather than like you can build him as the anti-infantry line, and he basically just gets a shotgun and he goes wild. But I prefer like anti-specialized unit sniper is the way I build him. We're back, we got that, we got this. And now we can build, so once again, if you're having control issues, well, it's because you have too many slaves. I don't actually have that many slaves, so I'm not gonna get rid of it. But like, if you're having control issues in a region, you can always use this tab, and like, you can pacify them. Don't ask what you're doing to pacify them. You know, your ethics teacher might not be too impressed with you, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, you gotta deal with the rebellion the right way, you know? Let me just make sure that we are still pacifying this region. That is good. We build that up. That is good. And we end turn. We're gonna go capture the cafe territory now, and then we'll also take out the greenskins. No, I would call it like proper you know, the HR management that Amazon wishes it has. That's the way to think about it. It's like, if Amazon could do it, they probably would. They, unfortunately for them, can't HR manage the way I can HR manage. I'll just imagine Jeff Bezos doing like a Negan style baseball bat execution in my head. Yeah, that's a funny image. Make of that what you will. But yeah, so Chaos Dwarves, like, once again, they're cool, but they're usually the background characters. So once again, if you're reading a book, a Chaos characters, you'll hear about like, oh, they went to Zarnagrund and they got their armor and they got their cannons and they got their blah blah blah. But you're not really an active player, at least in Warhammer Fantasy. Now, once again, they are brand new to Age of Sigmar, and we'll see what happens there. Like, one of the things they have going on is like, you know, all of their weapons are powered with demon juice. So like, you grab a demon, you basically beat the shit out of him, and you have him power your weapon basically forever, because demons are kind of infinite in a way. You can power your gun for a long time. Just by, you grab a demon, you put him into your gun. It's fun, right? But another thing they learn to do is they have an oil rig. So in Age of Sigmar, it's split into like, so you know, there's the 8 lores of magic. It's split into like the life realm, the wizard realm, the fire realm, the metal realm, and also the death realm. And in the death realm is the Sea of Souls, which is exactly what it sounds like. That's where the souls go. So what they have is they have an oil rig over the Sea of Souls, and they are trying to use, and they are actually succeeding at using souls to as a kind of a resource instead of using can I go there? That is cool. Oh, so I can just go completely somewhere else. Ah, that's neat. That's neat. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna kind of establish myself in this part of the world. But like they are like they built an oil rig on the Sea of Souls, and they are like they're milking it for all it's worth. And it's like that's kind of fun. That's neat. That's a cool little thing. Yeah, like, they kind of went past Tolkien, and that's good. Like I don't like it when it's too, I know that like it is derivative. Everything in the Least Fantasy is in some way derivative of Tolkien for the most part. You know, there's Skaven. Thank God for Skaven, because like the moment someone says, "Oh, it's just Tolkien ripoff," you can't just be like, "No, Skaven exists. Skaven exists." You can't say that. It's not true. You can just put your head in the sand. But in Age of Sigmar, they do make more time into trying to make them more unique. They all give them, so first of all, they give them all copyrightable names. So everything in Age of Sigmar has, it's not dwarfs, it's Duarden. And then there we go, copyrightable. It's not Chaos Dwarfs, it's Hellsmiths of Hashut. Copyrightable. It's make of that what you will, right? But the important part for I'll reply to that later. The important part for the lore is that the issue with Age of Sigmar, and I think that's actually less of a positive than it is a negative, is that each realm of magic is effectively endless. So it kind of runs into that 40k thing where like you can kind of just build your own. It's like, oh, I want there to be a section of the world where like things are run like this particular way. Kind of like in 40k. In 40k, the space is big enough that like if you want to run your own special like section of Space Marines who run their own like empire, but they're like specifically trying to be like whatever side of World War II you prefer. Like, you know, I know there's a Krieg for World War One, but you want to have like, or whatever you want. You want to have like the East India Tea Company Space Marines for whatever reason. You know, you're very, very English. You can do that. And Age of Sigmar has that same thing where like, because they have endless realms. Each of the 8 realms is effectively endless. You can just, it's very good for build your own. It's very good for that flexibility. But what made fantasy so good, and I think it happens in this game, right? What makes Warhammer Fantasy so good is that there is set geography, and you can read about this geography. I'm kind of running out of labor. This is very unfortunate. I need to solve that. Let's go get some labor. So you can run everything you see in the game, everything you see in the world is a set geography. You can read about specific places. You can like explore those things, and it's good in that way. And like that's where I think that Warhammer 40k is going to have a bit of an issue. Is like there is no, there technically is, you know, there is Terra. Terra exists, and Terra is definitely, you know, a very like defined geographical place. But then there is like planet stupid, and like, you know, it exists and it's a thing in lore, and you have to treat it as a thing in lore. But like there's like 700 planets that are all like Forge World, and stuff happens on them, and like there's less stakes. And that is a pro and a negative. Like once again, I'm hoping that with like the establishment of this game that, you know, we're getting soon, they're gonna like put in a little bit more time to like, I don't really want that. They're gonna put a little bit more time, and they're gonna establish it. I like, look, when I first like started, as I mentioned before, when I first started like hearing videos about like, I got into Warhammer in general from Bricky. So there was a Bricky, it was a Bricky video, Bricky Orchid 8 had like a video, it was like explaining the lore of 40k, and that was like the first thing I'd ever seen in like this universe. As I said, I used to live in the UK, and I never used to watch, I walked past the Warhammer store, and I never really was that interested. Like I watched the Bricky, and it's like, and like Warhammer 40k is like really cool because you can like you can watch a short on like some wild stuff that happens in 40k. Now a lot of 40k has been changed over the years, so like you can have several versions of the same lore which are more or less valid. But yeah, it exists, it's fun, it's good, it's a good time. And it has wild lore, but the geography is less set, and I do prefer fantasy, so that's why I'm happy that they're going to be making medieval free, because at some point I'm probably going to want to like do a more medieval guns and archers and stuff setting, and I probably am going to play Warhammer 3. I'm not going to completely give up on Warhammer 3 because I think they're going to be like distinctive enough where it's kind of different. The thing is like Warhammer 3 is not pure 40K is not pure sci-fi. And they are correct when they say like, oh, it is still a fantasy game. Like it is still fantasy. It is still going to be like, you know, there's going to be a lot of guns, there's going to be a lot of melee. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, Tarny, that's what I was saying. Is like Age of Sigmar has that loose geography, which is not great. So if they had made an Age of Sigmar 40K, they would have AOS, a Total War AOS. I think they would have run into that same issue. It's like, oh, there's no set geography. That kind of sucks. Also, I don't think they were never gonna make it. Like some people were speculating, oh, they could do Age of Sigmar. I was like, nah. Age of Sigmar is it has its fans, right? It exists, but it is nowhere near as popular as it is nowhere near as that train is taking a long while. Jesus, that train is still going. I was like, yeah, that's still the same train, and it is still just slowly moving. But like Age of Sigmar was not going to be the heavy hitter that both Games Workshop and CA won. CA needed that big win. Also, they're releasing 11th edition. So if you ever want to own a box of Warhammer, wait till the launch of 11th edition, and which will be in a few months from now, and then you will get a value box. So you get a box which will like, they are meant to get you into the game, but in terms of value, like in terms of what you get in the box for the amount of money you get, value box is one of the best offerings GW ever makes, Games Workshop ever makes. It has the models, it has them at a relatively cheap price, and you get a lot of it. Hey Sync, how you doing? Like it is, if you just want to like own a few Space Marines and you want to like paint them and blah blah blah, or just like see what it's all about, it's like it'll be like 150 bucks and you will get a ridiculous amount of stuff. Hey Blades of Xerxes, how you doing? And how's Saint Tank? But yeah, they were always gonna have that geography issue, and that's something that I think they're gonna lose in the future game, is like by not having the like set geography that this one does, that this one has, you will lose some of that like attachment that people have. At the same time, the 40K game will have its own internal geography, and then people will like, hopefully they will have some like key settlements. You know, you'll have your Terra and you'll have your Mars and your blah 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 over time, because they've announced that like 40K is going to be the next 10-year game. Now whether that means they're going to make 40K 2, or they just like they work on 40K as like a base game that they just build on over time, it's still not sure that how they're gonna build it. So that's still a bit vague, but they're gonna make it, and they'll definitely be interested. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the value box is good. Now, if you like a specific faction, just keep an eye out, because Games Workshop releases today the Christmas boxes that just happened. I think most of them are sold out. Those sell out value Christmas, because they are like, Games Workshop likes to do a FOMO model, where it's like, we're going to make a certain amount of them, and they are absolutely going to sell out. So if you want to buy into it, you're going to buy into it. You don't have time to think about. So if you like a specific faction, just keep your eye out. But if you just want like the bestest value for either any of the game modes, but you are tied into like, so half the box will be Space Marines, and it'll be like one other faction. What that is isn't clear. People are speculating that, especially with them releasing in Warhammer 40K, it's going to be orcs. I'm not big on a greenskin orc player, but like you can also sell off half the box because it's such a good value. People will buy half the box off you, and you can keep the box value you care about. So like Space Marine, blah blah blah, and that presents a really good way to step into the game, and then you can just, once again, you can paint them up. And like I don't play the game to play it. I don't really like, I live kind of out of town, so it's like moving a whole bunch of miniatures would probably be horrific. But then at the same time, like I just like it as a painting project. I like to like paint. Also, if you just want to try the painting, go walk into your local Warhammer store, wherever that is. You probably have one, and like they will give you a miniature to paint for free. So if you're just like, I'm not sure about this painting thing, they will just straight up give you a Space Marine or a Stormcast, and you can just try it out. That's how they got me. I wasn't convinced I was very good at painting, so they just got me. They just gave me. You walk into the store, they give you a miniature, because I was just walking in to have a look, because I was playing. You know, I've been playing this game for a while. So I walked into a store and I wanted to have a look at the Age of Sigmar stuff. And they were like, "Oh, do you want to paint a miniature?" And I was like, "It's free." And I was like, I guess I'll paint a miniature, sure. And then here I am. I've got a shelf full of the stuff and I'm painting them slowly. So that's how they get you. So yeah, that sucks. Sorry about that. That is always a negative, right? But yeah, just if you're ever like around there and you have some free time, they will just straight up give you a miniature for free. They also have the miniature of the month. So every month, if you go over to your local Warhammer store, wherever that is, they will just give you a free mini from like a faction, usually one they're promoting at the moment. And that's another way to just get like a little guy to paint up or build and just kind of like be happy with it. Like they do a lot of stuff. Look, they charge a lot for the miniature, so they can definitely afford it. But they do a lot of stuff to like encourage new players, and they do that. Yeah. So yeah, just go over to your local Warhammer store every month. It's the first Saturday of the month. So every Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, just go to your local Warhammer store and just ask them for the free miniature of the month, and you can just own a little guy. Like, it'll be a bit of a random faction, so there's some that I don't care about or not. But if I'm always around, I try to get it because it's nice to own that, right? It's nice to like have something. Let me just get my hobgoblins in front. Yeah, and then they do a lot. They do a lot of effort to get new people in. They will happily teach you how to play the game and stuff. Like, it's a bit of an issue. Like for me, I haven't quite learned because like they do some of the staff. So because it's Warhammer and because Warhammer's a big English one. So if you go to like main one in like Akihabara, they speak English, right? But like some of the other ones are maybe a little bit more Japanese target. And there's a surprisingly large amount of people playing it in Japan. I find that like when I go to the stores, there's like actually quite a lot of Japanese people, which I didn't necessarily expect because, you know, Gundam's a big thing. And why this right here is so annoying. I am just pushing him and I physically am not damaging him. I should be able to. I massively should overspec him, but I just physically, okay, stop. I'm just realized that I'm gonna waste a ton of ammo because I just pushed him into range. But yeah, this whole like units don't connect is it's such a big. Okay, I could end game right now. But I actually don't mind. I'm gonna wait for reinforcements. But yeah, sometimes like you declare you kill the like starting army and then you can just leave, which is good because like if you blew up a bunch of magic to kill the starting army, you can just like reset your magic and stuff like that. But we're just gonna wait. I like my position. This is a pretty good position. I did waste a few ammo. So yeah, they make a lot of stuff. So like go to a Warhammer store. Once again, if you like more the fantasy side of things, then you want a then you're gonna want a Age of Sigmar box. The good news about Age of Sigmar is that it doesn't sell out as fast as 40k. So there are actually Christmas boxes even from like 2 years ago that are still available. So if you're in the UK, for example, you go to like Element Games or Darksphere, and you'll buy if you have the chance to buy Warhammer stuff in the UK, it'll be 1,000,000 times cheaper than anywhere else in the world. Like it is one of the only things that the UK produces because Warhammer is still produced in the UK. Like it is actually built in England at factories. One of the only things in the world still built in the UK. So it is cheaper to buy in England or to get it from England, etc. And then like as you scale further and further away, it gets more expensive. But like you can get if you buy never buy from Games Workshop directly. The best way you want to buy stuff, GW stuff, is you can buy it either on Amazon. So if you're in the US, Amazon will have it cheaper, or you go to like not a reseller, but like third party seller, like a company, and they will have better pricing than what GW. GW for some reason like doesn't try to sell competitively on their own stores, which is good because it supports the like wider economy of things. So always get it. So like if you like Skaven, for example, you can probably still find the Skaven Christmas box that they just released. Or if you want that value box, like an introduction value box, just look for it's called the like Ultimate Starter set. It's kind of like the Skaven, so it's kind of like their value box, their launch box. For a new season, they'll do a launch box. And then if you didn't get it during that launch box period, you get like the introduction set, which will have a little bit less. It won't be quite as good value as the aforementioned launch box that I'm recommending for like the 11th season. But it's still very good. You'll get a lot of minis. So you get Skaven and you get Stormcast. So if you like Warhammer Fantasy and you don't necessarily like Age of Sigmar yet, it's still a lot of Skaven. And Skaven are fun. Skaven are basically a one-to-one from Fantasy to Age of Sigmar. They exist exactly the same. So if you just want the fantasy side of things, just get your Skaven. And you'll have a good time. I'm going to try to jump these archers. I'm going to get shot to death on the approach. But we're going to risk it. We're going to risk it. I'm going to have my flankers be flanking. I need to be careful because I'll forget about them and then I'll get shot to death. But hey, that took a second. There we go. We're bowling in. We're getting in. We're getting in. Yeah, you just like, there's a lot of flexibility. Like once again, there's a lot of like, they really want you to get involved because the reality is they know damn well that like the moment people get into this game, like you start buying things and you start buying things you don't need. So they can afford to give away a miniature once in a while for free because they're hoping that you're gonna buy a bit more by the time you're done. Like for every 10 miniatures they give for free, they'll hook someone in, and then that person will buy a lot more. Then they make the money back perfectly. It's a smart system. But once again, and then the other thing is like if you're not sure you can paint miniatures, like just try the free one. It's literally free, and like I realized, okay, I can do this, and it's actually kind of fun. It's enjoyable. And once again, you don't have to paint them like any specific color. If you want your goofy pink Space Marine, you can run your goofy little pink Space Marine. Like it's flexible. And it's fun. And like I enjoy it as like a kind of like a relaxation exercise, for lack of a better word. Like I just enjoy the painting of it all. So it stops me from thinking. Like I think too much sometimes. So like having a break from thinking when I'm just like painting is very good for me. So I enjoy all of that aspect. I think we are a little bit too exposed on this side, but we are definitely, we're going to try to shoot the Lord. Now we want to shoot the archers. We want to harass the archers. We want to harass the archers. And we just want to make that work. But yeah. How are you doing, Sin? So what faction do you like, Sin? Hey, have a good night, Neov. I don't blame you for sleeping. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, no problem. Happy to help. It's like how I started. We are shooting, I think we are shooting some of my men in the back. Like these guys definitely got shot, but we'll ignore that. Yeah, we're shooting my men in the back. Up the hill, up the hill, up the hill. Up the hill. Let's avoid that if we can. Okay, we're good, we're good. This front is holding fine. We need to make sure that we're not getting too shot up in the rear. Well, that's a lot of archers, though. Let's keep cycling out. Let's clear out their rear. If we clear out... You want to focus their missiles, so that way they don't get the value out of it. And then so that way they get no value. Because, like, if you're fighting a melee unit in melee, they're probably still getting some value of it. If you kill their missile unit before they ever get any value, then that's a big win for you. Because you definitely cleared that out and you got better value out of it. I need to make sure that I don't lose my demons. That's the other thing I need to make sure of. A 40k fan, and then I love the Grey Knights. Well, look, the good news is, they're not a Lance faction, but look, you can be 100% sure that pretty much when they do release 40k, every single Chaos Dwarf is definitely going to be added in the game at some point. Oh yeah, so if you like Skaven, like coming back to our painting discussion, just get yourself the ultimate intro box. That's literally what it's called, introduction box. You'll get a bunch of Skaven. Okay, we are dying. We need to get out of here. And you can just paint up a bunch of Skaven. Like it's a really good value. Like, okay, you're paying a lot of money for plastic, but in terms of GW measurements of value, it is one of the best values you're gonna get. Whether or not it is a good value in of itself, or whether we've all been brainwashing to pay. Please don't break. Damn it, they broke. That is the issue with demons. Whether we just get brainwashed because like comparatively to other GW stuff, it's the better value, or whether it is actually good value. I'll leave that up to your personal decision. But like, in terms of just, here is like a way to get into the game. It is an introduction box and is good. I think in a lot, so like depending on where you're living, you can still probably find the Skaven Tide box. And the Skaven Tide box is, as long as you're finding it for a reasonable price, we'll have even more Skaven. And it'll have a bunch of things that you know randomly. Yeah, no problem. So like, if you just, once again, if you like Skaven, you can try. I'll try the trial one, but like, be careful because like the Skaven Tide box is going to sell out at some point because that's how they get you. Is like, well, if I don't buy it, it's not going to be available anymore. But there'll be other Skaven. Like, don't overthink it. Skaven is definitely a popular faction. There'll be more Skaven in the future. But yeah, just try the trial one. It's fun. And then yeah, there's a lot of avenues into getting into Skaven at the moment. Like once again, the ultimate starter box is definitely a way to go. You want to be careful. Like they'll make you buy. One thing you want to avoid is that they will try to get you to buy like it's a little box of paint with like 5 miniatures. Don't buy that box. It is not great value. What are you guys doing over here? It is not the best value to get started. So just don't do that. Yeah, that's a good plan. Just be careful about like look. The other thing that they're not going to mention to you is that you need to buy a bunch of paints. And obviously, now you don't necessarily need to buy GW paints. Depending on where you live, there are very good factions that 40k. Well, 40k. Well, hey, once again, wait for the 11th edition, which will be summer. So this summer, it will be a good time to like get into it. Because you know they're releasing a new edition, so like there'll be a bunch of new miniatures, new factions, blah blah blah, and like they will make a big push. Like we need to focus on specific. Because I am getting shot up on my lord, and that is not good. Let me focus on less. But yeah, 40k is a good like. Let's be honest. If you like now, Grey Knights is a bit of a rough time. At some point, people expect them to get updated. But from what I understand, Grey Knights are rather old on the tabletop. You probably don't want to be buying into. You don't know. So the good news is, as I was talking about, companies like Element Games and stuff, and like Darksfield will ship to Europe. So maybe you'll have to see whether like the tariffs from importing are worth it compared to the cheaper European prices. You just want to get them in Europe. That's up to you. But like Grey Knights is not a faction you want to be buying into right now, from what I understand. I'm not an expert in 40k, but even I know that because their models are quite old and they are expected to get a refresh at some point. So they'll get newer, fancier models, and it'll make you feel bad if you buy the old, outdated models. So just buy the value boxes. It's a good value box, and then you just get started. And then when they do a refresh of Grey Knights, the good news for you is they will absolutely do a Grey Knights value box. So they'll have a bunch of models, and you can get started with that. Never buy individual models when you play, unless you're like playing competitively and you need a specific thing for your competitively. Never buy individual models. Just buy a value box, and you can go through with like painting that over the course of a year. So that's the healthy way to get into the hobby. Now, I have a shelf of unpainted things up there because I don't have the time. I got into the hobby when I had a lot more free time, and now I have a lot less free time. So like, be careful about that too, because that like never buy more than you need. They'll try to convince you to. There we go. Well then, there you go. That's once again, that's the thing is like. Just build them. You know, there is the well, this faction is like this color. It's like don't ignore it. Just once again, if you want to build your Skaven as bright pink Skaven, or you want to build your Space Marine and like these are my Ultramarines, but they're black for some reason. It's like fuck it. They're you know, at the end of the day, they're gonna be on your shelf in your house. Paint them however you want. Yeah, it's very flexible. There we go. We're winning. We've cleared out our first region. My second starting region. Let's build that up. Let's destroy that. Let's build. See, that's the thing. Is like I could transfer. Let me cancel one of these. I want to transfer this one to being a factory because there is a benefit to owning one factory in a region that is like other things. Nah, I probably shouldn't have done that. I don't want to convert. Oh well. I mean, I overthought it. I want to build that in the future. Let's build. We'll build that here. Yeah, just be careful. It is an expensive hobby, and like if you like too many factions like I do, you start to like. Because I like Cities of Sigmar, so they don't have an Empire equivalent. So if you play this game, you know there's the Empire. They don't have a one-to-one for the Empire, but they do have like Cities of Sigmar, which are kind of like the same theme of like regular men and women like doing their best to hold off like all the horrors of the world, and I kind of like that aesthetic. This is the color scheme. Oh, so like green and white. Cool. That looks good. But have you seen what's their faction? What's look, once again, I'm not an expert in 40k, but what's the one that the lion leads? Because isn't that the lion's colors? Yeah, okay, so there's the purple helmet switch. Okay, I can't, they're kind of small on my screen. I'm trying to like look in. But like, yeah, like, so have you tried them? That's a shame. If you were like once again, Christmas boxes are really good value. Last year they did a box with the 2 seconds. So they did a lion. I'm gonna type in Lion Xmas box. Okay, that's still Warhammer. Lion Xmas, but sometimes you can like type in like Warhammer terms like like terms close enough and you can get it. So like, see, they released this, which is like, you know, your dark temple, your dark angels, right? Which is basically your color scheme, and like, and that was like Christmas release. It was a really cheap price, and you get the main dude, you get the purple, you get the, you know, the colors you're looking for, and then you can just add the purples to being purple if you want, the helmets to being purple. But like that was a year ago. You're not gonna find that at a cheaper price right now. So just keep an eye out, because like Dark Angels are a pretty popular faction because they just released the Primarch, right? So like it's popular, but you're just gonna be careful. Now, a final little note though about buying a value box is like, if you find the value box later and it's not on discount, don't buy it. Because there's nothing unique to these boxes. There's no models you can't get somewhere else. So never end up buying a value box at a higher price, because then it doesn't become a value box. They don't put exclusive stuff in that kind of stuff. So like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Dark Angels with purple helmets is a perfectly valid way to play. Yeah. And then that way, once again, keep an eye out for Dark Angels, because Dark Angels itself. So here's an idea. If you want just a cheap, if you like Dark Angel colors, 2 seconds. Let me suggest something. Dark Angels. No, that's not a battle force. It's, what is it called? It's combat patrol. There we go. Combat. It's not neat looking. Here we go. That's the newer one. Let me just pull it up on the store. It'll be simpler. Once again, do not buy it from the official store. You can find it somewhere else. But like, you see, you get, this is a smaller value. So it's like a 30% value. So like the Christmas box or the intro boxes are bigger value discount. Like if you just want some guys to paint and you get some Dark Angel ones, and once again, you can just make their helmets purple, right? This is a good way to start. There's nothing like particularly, they don't have like a big centerpiece. So like some of the combat patrols will have a big centerpiece and you can like make that more color. Or the other thing you can do, if we just go to Space Marines and we go to like Ultramarines. The thing with Ultramarines, right, is that you can just take the Ultramarine box and you can paint it however you want. Where is their combat patrol? Let me, you know what? Let me just do it. So like there is a game mode attached to it, but once again, I don't know much about that. Like I like just buy it as a value box. Like if you're gonna do it, like so, like Ultramarines, like these guys. You see, you can just paint these in whatever colors you want. They're kind of similar. You can run both, and that gives you some more value. Like once again, there's just different ways. So there's like there are smaller discount boxes and there are bigger discount boxes, and it really is up to like whatever you want to do. Now let me split up my army into one of these guys, and I'm gonna make him a leadership booster because he's gonna be running trash. Because he's running trash, you definitely want that leadership boost. There's various ways to get into the game. Some are more better, some are less better. But if you're not in a rush, then just wait for the value box that'll be coming out in the summer, and that'll be a good time to get it. That's probably when I will buy that box, because you know, if I'm like, the game is going to be moving to 40K at some point, right? So that being the case, at some point I will be I'll probably want a few 40K models just to like get in the spirit of things, you know. So yeah, that's when I'll be doing it. But yeah, once again, if you are not looking to play and you're just looking to paint, then just getting one small box or a big box and just like going that is, and a few paints, just stick with that. And then like my recommendation is like, unless you really want something, just finish your first set of minis and then like upgrade from there, you know. Don't buy things you don't need. That's my big recommendation in this game. Is like, it's very easy to. I do it all the time, so does everyone. But like, don't buy things you don't need. And it's the way to keep it manageable. Let me train up a few guys over here, because we are expecting Ogre Assault at some point. Because once again, they do capitalize on that FOMO. You do capitalize on being like, oh, but this is temporary, and like, I like this faction. Oh, I should start a new faction because I have a really good value box. No. Stop all of that. Stop all of that. You're falling for the trick. and it's an effective trick because like I've done it a few times, but like once again, I don't have as much free time as I used to paint, so it's it's definitely slowed down my purchasing. It's like if I was like maybe I was like, ooh, should I buy the Skaven box? I was like, no, I have a shelf full of them. Let's not do that. Oh well. The good news about the intro box that I've been talking about this whole time is like the intro box will most likely be available for a good amount of time. You don't have to buy it straight on release. It will be available for like 6 months at pretty much any Warhammer store, so you're not in a rush. You can offer it for yourself as a Christmas gift, and it'll still be available. They tend to be available for a while, so don't feel rushed. Once again, they like to make you feel rushed, and they might get scalped a bit at first. So don't buy them from a scalper. They'll make more of it. They'll make more of it for a while. And once again, don't look at like an official GW store. Look at like another like a European retailer and stuff like that, and you'll usually get a better price. Those are the tips and tricks. It's a good time to be a 40K player though, because you know they're releasing a new edition. They'll be releasing more TV shows with the Henry Cavill. They'll be releasing the 40K the new edition. It's like so much the 40K game. Like you're eating good, you know? It's a good time. Yeah, so that you can just you can take so they don't have so they had a box called the Leviathan box, which is the current intro box. So here, let me compare. So let me give you an explanation. So ultimate intro box 40K. No, that's not the combat. Warhammer 40K. Let me explain to you the difference. 2 seconds. There's a lot of options on the store. Space Marines. Let's just go Space Marines, all of them. Let me organize it by the most expensive one. I don't mind taking a detour. Let me pull it up. Okay, so let me just like 10th edition Ultimate starter set. So this is what you can find in stores right now. You get a lot of units. You get your it's kind of hard to think. You get a bunch of units, but you get a lot of as you said yourself, you get a lot of what's their name again? Tyranids. So if you're in the market for that, like there's a lot going on. You definitely got a lot of models to paint, but you see there's not so many Space Marines. Now, what was happening originally is at the launch of the edition, you had the 40K Leviathan box. So the Leviathan box, on the other hand, had like more. So there was more on each side. It is the same pieces, but you see there's way more Space Marines, and it was about the same price. And this is the same thing with like the Skaven Tide box. So the Skaven Tide box compared to the intro box is like, it's just a little bit less. Like you see there's a lot of models, and it was like for like the value, like it was like a 90% discount because they really want, they sell that at a lot, almost, okay, not at a loss. I'm sure they still make money, but like compared to like how much they would normally charge for all of this, it's almost at a loss for them. And like that's the gateway. So what's going to happen is at 11th edition, which is like in a few months, as I've been mentioning, they're going to do another one of these boxes where you get like a lot of stuff for like 160 or so. And then like, that's a good way to like buy in. Once again, it is not, nobody knows. I don't know. It is rumored that especially with the tie-in with the game, they're going to be, it's going to be orcs. If you don't like orcs, because really, once again, orcs don't excite me too much. I might just like buy the box, sell the orcs to someone, and then just like, or like keep the orcs for later and like sell them on a sprue or something, and then like just get rid of them at some point. But like you can just, you don't have to like build both parts. There's a very big community of people who will buy it off you. Don't worry about that. So if you're not, or you can just keep them in the box and just paint your Space Marines if that excites you more. So like you don't have to be like, oh, well, I own these, I'm stuck with these. Like no. You can just do like 2 separate things. It's actually very normal. Like you just eBay it or like marketplace it, or just people, because as we've mentioned, Warhammer is not the cheapest of hobbies. I think that's an understatement of the year. There is a very large resale community available. You can find people who will happily buy and sell stuff with you. And I do not have any money to launch this convoy. So I'm just going to launch a really tiny convoy just because I can. Alright, well look, as I said, the advantage is new edition will mean new models, so maybe they'll look better. They'll look different at least. So they'll have some new stuff. Once again, if it doesn't sell you on it, then just sell it off. That's an easy fix. Selling it off is a very valid option. There's a whole economy of like secondhand stuff, like built or not built. People paint them for money. The issue with like painting it for money is like, if you take too long doing it, obviously you don't like the amount of like value for the amount of hours you're putting in is maybe not very good. We are getting quite the invasion force over there, and we are not prepared for that. I've been not paying attention to the fact that we are going to get attacked. Like, but just once again, buy the box, take the Space Marine part of the box, keep the Space Marine part of the box, build it up, take the orc sell part of the box, and you can make like 50% of your money back just straight away, and then that way. You just you know, it's not quite profit, but you're still making you're making a lot of your money back. So that's good. That's the positive way to do it. Hey folks on YouTube, how are we all doing? Merry Christmas, by the way, to you, Sint, and Merry Christmas to anyone else watching. I know it's a few days early, but we're definitely getting there. In case I don't say it in the future, or you don't hear it out in the future. Merry Christmas to everyone here, or just happy holidays, or whatever it is you want to do. Merry Christmas. But yeah. I'm gonna be streaming less this week coming up for obvious reasons. I'll probably still try to do like the YouTube video that I'm working on and stuff like that for YouTube, but I'm not gonna be making as much content in general, as you can imagine. And then we'll pick up more towards the end of the year and the new year. What about you, Sin? So you stream? What do you stream regularly? Do you stream 40K? I'm sorry, I didn't have time to like have a good look at it. What do you stream? Let's keep this up. That's the issue with this mod. It's like, and the rotating a turn takes a long time. We are not in position. We might not. We are in position to reinforce, but we are not in position to really. I think we're gonna have to come into the city, and then like assist from the side. That's gonna be rough. Can I get any recruitment? Can I get money? I need to get money. Let me declare war on people across the map so I can get some income. And then I can use that income to hire some emergency units. Because I'm going to need those emergency units. There we go. That was not worth anything. That was barely worth the trouble. I think we, yeah, so we're about to be in an emergency situation. Let's see if we can stabilize this. Let's go. We are going to hire you two into the city. Not a lot, but it'll definitely be something. No, I don't want Route Marcher. I want you to have Inspiring Presence. You're going to need whatever little boost you can get right here. I hope they don't try to jump. That's the other option, is they could jump Jazoef. And if they jump Jazoef, then we're going to be in a rough spot, because I lose all of my defensive advantages. I think we are as prepared as we're going to be. Ideally, what I want to happen is that they jump Drazoef here. They jump the city. I don't think they have. Yeah, they don't have the movement range to hit Drazoef, I don't think. So ideally, they jump the city, and then I can walk my backup army into the city and like assist. I am not going to try to hire anything because I'm wasting my time if I try to hire something. I'm going to get jumped. The good news is, as long as we win, then we'll be coming back. Yeah, Space Marine is one of those games like I've been meaning to play it, but like I'm realistic that I don't have as much time to like play casual games as I wanted to at the moment. Silk Song is supposed to be good. I know about that, and I've heard Vampire the Masquerades. So what faction did you play, and what did you enjoy and what did you not enjoy about that faction? Let me give you some recommendations then. But I've heard good things about Vampire the Masquerades, but I don't know what it's about. I know some of the other ones. Oh, you're just gonna attack me and die, huh? Okay, I'm not complaining. What faction have you played? What did you enjoy? What did you not enjoy? And then we can go from recommend. Also, what DLC and what games do you have? because my recommendations like will be based on like what you have access to, obviously. Because the nice part about living in Japan is because of like, you know, the Steam changes the prices, right, based on like what region you are and stuff. The pricing is very favorable in Japan. You can buy stuff really cheap. Like a lot of the games are really cheap here. So like I got a bunch of DLC, but like I don't feel bad that I'm buying DLC for factions I might not necessarily 100% use because it is cheap. I want to use this hill here, and I want to put my front line in front, slightly lower down because ogres are so big. I'm absolutely going to shoot over their head, so that's not a huge worry for me. But you do have to worry with a lot of guns in this game is like, can they shoot clearly at what's in front of them? And absolutely, these are dwarfs. Line of sight is not so much of a problem for them. I'll put that here, and I have my lord on mount. Now, where's the army? Let's go harass the lord. We are gonna... So I have two options. I need to shut down these dogs here, because these dogs could actually be a bit of a problem for me. Because I don't want them like sneaking up on the back. The AI is not the best at a lot of things, but there are some things like flanking. The AI has a good understanding of flanking and can flank you very annoyingly if you're not careful. They got away. We're just gonna, you know what, we'll go harass that. I think we'll just position, adjust. I'll position a little bit to the side like that. And that will be a clean way to do it. Now, ow. He doesn't have any of his combat stats right now. So, like, you feel getting shot right now. And that's kind of annoying. Let me shoot a fireball at them. You know what? Let me use a... The advantage of, like, using my lord as a distraction like I'm doing right now is, like, half the army is focused on me. So they're coming in sections to my main force. Not even in sections. They're just having one guy walk up and he's gonna die. Okay, you know what? We can engage him. I will win this trade very easily, but they slightly outrange me, so I need to move up on them. Oh, there's some units in here. Okay, let me see. I'm confident that I can definitely win that trade. Here come the main force. Let me spread these guys out a little bit more. Let me just open fire on them. We'll delete them, and then we'll keep going. I just need to pull back the moment they're adjusting to the side. I don't know if I should... Let me move that over here. I should focus on the ogres. See, that's the problem, is like these will absolutely crush me if I get into range. Let me pull back. I didn't brace. You want to be bracing for an ogre charge, but I didn't brace. Which is unfortunate. This game right now, it's just I have the base game, just finished Drakenhof Conclave, did a bit of Reichland to learn more. Yeah, I would say Empire. Okay, so the thing about Empire is that it does have a bit of a start. So I'm gonna plug myself. Max in Japan YT. I think I put it earlier in the like. Dang, 2 seconds. Let me take a second. I'm in the middle of a fight, which is not a good time to be like doing something else. There we go. Let me grab that. Like, Empire has the advantage of like. You overpower a lot of things. There's a lot going on. The good news for Empire is that you are going to learn a lot of the principles of the game, because a lot of what you learn in Empire applies to a lot of factions. The thing about vampire counts is it technically teaches you to like hyper focus on your heroes more than your other units, for example. And so you maybe learn some bad habits, because you learn, okay, my lord can solo an army, and like that is not necessarily true for every faction. So you have to be careful about that, because like some factions you're going to send in your lord and they're going to delete it. So just be careful with that. But they are a powerful start, and they are a good start. They're not a bad start. So you own Warhammer 1, and then you're playing Immortal Empires. Are you playing Immortal Empires, or are you playing Warhammer 1, or are you playing Warhammer 3? Like what do you like? What are you playing exactly? All right, so you are playing Warhammer. So you own Warhammer 1 though. So that's good. So once again, I would say that Cathay is a very beginner-friendly position. So it's like fantasy China, but you learn your infantry, you have powerful lords. So if you like a good powerful lord that can fly, you can definitely have that in Cathay. They do have like you learn the basic principle of the game. So like there are some factions in this game where you learn very faction-specific skills that maybe don't apply to everyone. So for example, if you're playing like Khorne, you don't necessarily learn your economy as well as you could, and you don't, because of that, you don't like learn something. But like your Empire, your dwarfs, if you just want to like, so dwarves have no magic, so they're very good for like as a beginner faction because you don't have to worry about magic, and they're very magic resistant. So you don't have to be worried about being magic too heavily in turn. But at the same time, I first started playing, when I first started playing, I actually started playing dwarves and Empire, and I got into the situation where I kind of ignored the entire magical side of the game, which is not necessarily how you want to do things. You do want to use your magic, you do want to engage with your magic. It is a very big part of this game, but you don't necessarily have it, if that makes sense. So it is a mixed bag. So like I love Empire. You do, so the thing with Empire is you need to rely on your, it's kind of like these guys, you need to rely on your guns and you need to rely on your artillery to be doing the actual killing of the enemy. So your front line exists to hold people away from your guns and let your guns shoot and your artillery shoot. But you're not expecting to actually do any significant kills with them. They exist mostly as a line holder. They are very fun, they are very versatile, they have very good late game stuff, they have very good guns, they have very good artillery, and they have very good cavalry. Their infantry is a bit lacking, but once again, their infantry serves a purpose. They are very good. It's a very good way to learn the game. And I like, they are my favorite factions. I'm a little bit biased and I recommend them. But if you just want other factions, there are other factions that will also do a similar job. So once again, Dwarfs, Cafe, will teach you those like fundamentals. And then from there are factions that play completely differently, but those are more maybe like to get into. Like for example, Chaos Dwarfs play very differently than a lot of factions in this game. So maybe not like the best like introduction to a new player. But they are very fun though. This is like a lot of people's favorite DLC is like because they run like a very unique, very powerful playstyle, and that's very like fun. But yeah, Empire is a good call. Empire is generally a very good call. If you want to like, because the Steam sales are on, if you want to get a DLC for Empire, the Elspeth von Draken DLC is definitely like up there on the power level, but like in a fun way. She's very fun to use. Like some factions are too powerful and they're kind of boring. Elspeth, you're still going to be challenged, especially if you're new, and it's a good way. The other two Empire DLCs, so Grim in the Grave and Huntsman, something, are less important. Like only like get them. My recommendation for DLC in this game for anyone listening is like only buy the DLC for factions you like. You can try the base version of a faction, and like if you don't like them, most DLCs is not really going to fix that for you. Like I wouldn't recommend getting a DLC in the hope that it fixes the faction. If you like a faction and you want to keep playing them, then you get their DLC units and their extras. But you don't need to buy the extras to like have a good time. I beat most of the Chaos factions without owning Champions of Chaos as a DLC. Should I have done it? Honestly, probably not. I think Champions of Chaos is definitely one of those like DLCs that has like Okay, so Champions of Chaos is one of those like DLCs, but like it doesn't give you a benefit to only one faction. It gives you a benefit to technically 6 factions. So you have your various Chaos factions. So you have your Empire, your Nurgle, your Khorne, your Slaanesh, and your Zeech, who all get a benefit. And then you have the Warriors of Chaos, which are kind of like the multi-god faction. You get benefits. And then there's technically also Demons of Chaos, but don't play Demons of Chaos. Save yourself. Never play Demons of Chaos. So there are all these benefits. So like Champions of Chaos is one of those DLCs. Like as long as you enjoy any of the Satans, it's probably a good idea to play that one. It's a very like it's a lot of people's favorite DLC as long as you enjoy the units involved. Yeah, pretty much ever. They are terrible, and you don't want to play them. They're not good. Like I did it because I needed to for the achievement, but I was not having a good time. I was not having a good time. I have 100% of this game, so like I probably look. You see, that's a dumb thing that I should have done. Is like I wasn't streaming that. I was like I probably should have streamed that. That would have been good content, but I didn't stream it at the time. So yeah, you do what you want to do. You do what you have to do sometimes. So let's let me hire. So you see the Chaos Dwarfs work by having this like capacity thing. So some of your best units, you're locked in between caps and you have to like build up your caps. So a lot of people find them a little bit tricky at the start because like you're limited in like how much good units you're running compared to like how much like trash you're running. So it does create a bit of an early game challenge, which is good because like the late game for Chaos Dwarfs and the late game for a lot of factions in this game is too easy. A lot of factions you play in this game, you will reach a point where like you are no longer threatened by the AI, and that's when most people stop. So it is the balance in this game, because like a lot of games, you know, you would want the balance, the hardest part of the game to be at the end. That's not really the case with this game. So that's where I recommend like finding a human player. So like the best fun you're ever gonna have in this game, in my opinion, is multiplayer. The issue with multiplayer in this game is, as you can imagine, it takes quite the commitment. You need to find someone who's gonna play for like maybe like one Sunday, like Sunday afternoon for like 2 to 3 weeks. It is quite the commitment. So like, and it's really unsatisfying if like someone has to drop out, sometimes for very good reasons, right? You know, people have lives and like stuff happens. But like, if you're midway through a campaign and then you can't finish it, like that doesn't feel too good. That doesn't, it's not very satisfying. It kind of like, for me, it like takes the fun out of a campaign, because you can like build up and then you don't get the conclusion. But if you can find someone who's dedicated, or like someone maybe you're teaching, so you can get them a very overpowered faction and they play like a very weak faction, like you really get that. It's the best way to play the game, personally, because the human won't, like the AI suffers at building proper armies late game. They don't build like very good compositions, and obviously an AI general is not going to make the best decisions, where like a human you get a lot more. And the other advantage is humans are bound, like limited by the same limitations that you are in a game. When you're playing against the AI can own like one city, and they can have 30 settlements, and the 30 armies out of like one city. The AI is not limited by like unit caps and like money and incomes like you are. So, but when you're playing with like a human enemy, you can like do like a little sneaky raid into like where you know they're making all of their money, or like they're recruiting their best units, and you can take that city, and then suddenly like one little fact like one city was taken, right? But you really crippled them, and it can be very fun that way. But the AI doesn't have any of these things. Like you just basically like you just conquer them. So it's good and bad. Look, I've played this game for thousands of hours. I'm not going to say it's bad, but like definitely, if you ever get the chance to play multiplayer, you should. It's really the best way to like go through this game. Yeah, you can make full use of your tactics. You can like, you know, okay, he's building this, so I'm gonna counter build a little bit, and then you can like, you know, you're actually counter building against each other. You can make proper use for like, so example, well, like when you're playing against Skaven have the ability to like summon units from the ground, anywhere. So but the issue is they do it very, 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 very predictably. So at 45 seconds into every fight, you can literally just watch the timer and predict it. They will just, oh, I can't declare war on these guys. Oh, they must have confederated maybe. So like at 45 seconds into every fight, Skaven are going to summon something in your backlines. So as long as you are the human player, you can predict it and you can adjust. Now, if you're playing against a human player, like, as you are playing against a human player, they can wait. They can do it when you're least expecting it, when you're busy, when you're preoccupied, when they're charging. Like they will actually use these moves strategically, and it's much more fun. Yeah, let me just do that. Military convoy is still convoying across. That's good. Let me check my diplomacy. I don't really want to be friends with him, but I guess I'll be friends with him. But yeah, it's fun. You want to do a collab at some point? We don't have to necessarily fight against each other, but blah blah blah. We're both playing the game. I'll walk you through it. Open offer. Don't worry if it's no, it's fine. Greasus wants peace because I just beat up most of his armies. I am not taking that. I am taking all of your lands, buddy. You attacked me for no reason. I am taking everything. It is generally a good idea to whatever enemy you're fighting, it is better to exterminate an enemy completely and then move on to the next fight rather than like um, letting an enemy live in this game. Because they will probably declare war on you at some point again, and it's kind of inconvenient when they do because they'll do it like when you're busy somewhere else. So, and once again, you can think like, oh, I beat up the AI. They only have like one city. They won't. Yeah. Um, they won't like just because they have one city and you think okay they're not really a threat. Once again, um they will like still mass up on you. So don't just exterminate the AI. Like every faction you're playing, it's better. And no worries. I understand. Like I was doing multiple streams. I was doing like multiple subjects at some point, but because my YouTube is very like, it is Total War primarily, exclusively almost. I'm kind of streaming on the same subject right now. I'm trying to get the like, the subscribers. I'm almost there, but the viewership, the view time to get monetized because that's the part that I'm missing. I'm missing on those views. I'm making like full big videos too, and we're working on that. Wow, the delay is really bad. I'm not sure what I'm doing that causes such a big delay for like my stream. I need to work on that. I don't know if it's like, presume it's the delay because it's an international stream, right? Because I am in Japan. But who knows? I'm not sure quite how that works. Yeah, to monetize on YouTube. I am affiliate on Twitch for all the good it does me at the moment. I think it's the Christmas period, but there's not a lot of people on Twitch right now, so it is what it is. But I do have affiliate, so I made it. But it's not very exciting. But yeah, YouTube's going very well. I'm very happy with it. It takes time. And because I was focusing on shorts a lot, and I have some very successful shorts, but shorts do not contribute to monetization. So all of my view time on shorts that I thought was adding up, it doesn't add anything. So I've had to like make more long form videos, and so I'm catching up when I thought I was working towards it and I wasn't. So I've had to like pivot a little bit. And the issue with like I don't mind long form video. Long form video is more fun to make, but the issue with long form video is like the editing. You know, I used to joke and I didn't take it too serious. Like editing is the biggest part of making a YouTube video. And now that I'm having to do it, it's like, oh yeah, that's not an exaggeration. Editing takes a lot of time. So it's just kind of like trying my best to balance all of these things. Cause like, I don't want to spend all of my time making YouTube. I want to spend time with my son, spend time with my wife, obviously. So it's just balancing out all of these obligations. I want to do martial training because you want to get Ceaseless March is very good. You want to get Smog Shroud and you want to get Tactical Review. Yeah. Let's keep building up. I'm gonna do that one. Let's keep pushing. I have a limited capacity. We're running out of manpower again. In one turn, I can declare war on the ogres again down south. So I'm gonna do a 2-front fight. And I can start getting in more people, more voluntary labor force. Even Fru was doing pretty well. I know that you mean I know a streamer who had give up on YouTube because all the editing took away. Yeah, no, it's look. I'm not quite at the point where I'm gonna like I can hire someone, but yeah, it takes a long time, and that's like this is the advantage of like streaming. So I'm streaming like 4 people or free people right now on YouTube, and like if you do a several hour stream, it adds up significantly. But yeah, once I'm monetized, then I can maybe do more shorts because the shorts are doing really well, like 80,000 views and stuff like that. Like I have to find that balance. I'm not sure how to like balance these things out. Once again, luckily I'm not living off of my my Twitch income because let's be honest, my Twitch income for one viewer, it's not. I could spam more ads, right? I could spam it every time I end turn. I could spam an ad. I don't want to do that. Probably should honestly turn off ads because I think for like the pitiful amount of money I'm making, like it's probably better to just turn off the ads completely and just like leave a more comfortable experience for people. I'm still learning all of these things. Thanks. I appreciate a lot. I think you can, no? I think you can, or at least like, I don't know. Like I can definitely reduce it because I think I'm doing like 3 minutes of ad and I can like reduce it to like 1 minute or something like so I can make it less like less common. So who knows? I think that's interesting because you are replying much faster than what I think I am on the like my feed because I am supervising my own stream because I had a stream once where like for like the first 40 minutes I had like no sound. So that was kind of dumb. Nobody mentioned it. Like people were coming and leaving, and people even watching, but I just had no sound the whole time. So I keep a tab open where I like supervise the stream. Let's go kill my boy here. Oh, that is a full army. That is a full army. I do not want to force march into. Okay, it's a trash army, but it's still a full army. I don't want to force march into that. I'm gonna move up on him, and I'm gonna take this next turn. Yeah, we're gonna once again we need to start fighting more people because we're running out of manpower. So it is important that we find new and fresh enemies to attack. And we are gonna do ceaseless march. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. So I'm at 452. I think around the Christmas period, the views go down a bit. I've noticed a bit of a dip, which is I think is normal. Like once again, as I was joking with Neov earlier, it's like when I was younger, it's like, oh, I'm on vacation. I'm actually gonna watch more YouTube. But I guess most people, you know, have families and kids and these obligations that, you know, come first. And after the stream, I'm definitely gonna go. It's almost my son's birthday, so it's not quite today, but we're doing a little bit of like an early birthday party for like a lot of family who can't make it on his actual birthday, which I'm obviously not gonna mention on stream. But we're doing like a little bit of an early birthday today, so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. There are now a lot of promotions on different games too. I noticed people going there. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, but like Warhammer's, it's a pretty big period for Warhammer. It's just like I think it's Christmas. I don't mind. Like once again, this is a little bit of like a side project for me. I always wanted to like try my hand at being a YouTuber, or a Twitch streamer. If it doesn't work out, then I can say that I've honestly tried. I also have this issue where like my YouTube chat, I have an issue getting my YouTube chat to appear with my Twitch chat on the screen. So I have my Twitch chat showing up, and I'm pretty sure that I can confidently switch it between the two. So I could have one or the other. But the one that I'm using, I think it's Streamlabs, you know, they want you to pay to put multiple chats on the stream. It's like, I'm not quite making enough money that I'm going to justify like paying money into it. So I want to run like maybe 2 different windows from 2 different apps on the same thing. But I've been struggling to set it up. Yeah, I haven't quite. I know that you're supposed to like make emotes and things, but I guess I haven't quite done all of these things. Like I'm not. That's the thing, is like because I stream in like my spare time, and then I spend time with my family. There's a lot of things that I know I could be doing, like making emotes and like stuff, but I'm not necessarily doing, and I kind of should be. Like, right? That's the kind of the whole thing. Yeah. So I understand. Yeah, there's a whole economy in this thing. Like I don't know what a hype train is. Like my phone keeps notifying me like, this person has a hype train. It's like I have no idea what that is. For example. Fair enough. I have a good idea of what I would make an emote about, so I think I'm gonna stick to like making it by hand. But no, I get that. It's a bit of a touchy subject though, like, you know, making like art by AI. Aren't you afraid of like the pushback? And there's a lot of people who get like very like salty about it. I don't blame you, because like I can draw, okay, but my graphic design talents are no bueno. So like if I was making an emote, I'm pretty sure I have an idea of what I would make, and I'm pretty sure I could pull it off. But like I am not. Let me just piece that. Like I would be drawing. It'd be like very little crude Photoshop little drawing, and then realistically anything else I'd have to either hire someone or I would have to like. Yeah, fair enough. Then yeah, that's a good reason. I understand that perspective, but like yeah, it's a bit of a salty thing to like, you know, people get very picky about AI. It's like art is like supporting artists is all good and that, but like sometimes you can't support an artist, you know? It's like there's like once again I would hire like someone to like do like overlays and things, and I don't like one thing. There's a lot of this. I don't know how overlays work very well. There's a lot of like stuff that I need to like learn into, but like once again, it's just like the time. It's like always the time. At some point I will sit down and I will learn about all these things properly. It's just like, yeah. Like, it's like learning how to be a proper streamer, learning how to do proper stuff. One thing at a time, really. So, I have skirmish mode, so I can just set up in front. I'll set up my archers. I'm pretty sure I can tear them to bits. They have way more missiles than they do. I just need my front line to hold. If they can make it through my front line to my back line, I am definitely going to have a rough time. Let's position the wizard. The wizard is going to be useful. He's not exactly going to be the most useful, but he does help. Let's let me fan out a little bit. You want to make sure that you cover, as I said, the AI is pretty good at flanking. The AI has a good concept. Okay, we need to shut down this unit. They're pretty good at the programming for that. So you want to like spread out. Now, if you make your lines too thin, they're gonna bowl right past me. Well, once again, I don't even have emotes for people to sub to, so maybe I should work on that once again. Who knows? One thing at a time. Oh, look at those guys all the way over there. Let's not attack then. I was gonna push out a little bit more, but if they have extra units, can you see the? I can see the badge. Yeah, I can see the badge. I think Total War Anniversary badge. Okay, maybe I don't even know how you get that. I watched I don't know. I think you're supposed to like stream it on a specific thing, right? You're supposed to do something. Like, yeah, I don't know. Once again, I'm very much. There we go. We are winning dramatically. Yeah, losing a unit felt a bit extreme. For like, let me charge them. I didn't think I was gonna lose a unit, so I didn't feel like auto-resolving. Let me rotate that. Yeah, we've cleared out the front line instantly. Early ogres are very, very sensitive to missiles. So it's but what they can do is they can bowl through your front line, and well, fair enough. I didn't do that, so I don't have the label. But I don't have time. Like, that's the other thing is like, I know like you're supposed to like maybe watch streamers and you can learn from other streamers and stuff. But like, time. Everything is time. I just don't have the time, which is once again, it's by choice, right? I could be a bad dad, and I could be a better streamer, or I can be a good dad and a streamer who's still learning. And obviously, I think we both know what I'd prefer to do. Yeah. Well, yeah, they had their big marketing push. I watched the actual live stream announcement, and I stayed up and I watched it. It was a really inconvenient time for Japan, and like, they blue balled the entire audience so much. So they revealed Medieval Free, and they were like, oh, very, very work in progress. Like, we're talking like years. And I was like, great. And then they were like, oh, and then we're like, instead of releasing 40K, when they should have released, when they released, oh, I was scared there for a second. Instead of releasing 40K during their 25th anniversary stream, they obviously chose to release it a week later at the Game Awards. So like, there was like, it was a long night and they didn't reveal that much. Like the Nagash stuff was cool, but the issue was like, they kind of teased it on Twitter, like a week earlier, like a few days earlier. So there was like there was no real like big news for the actual event. Cause like people knew Nagash was coming because they'd revealed it on Twitter for no reason. Like that's the weird thing is like they could have just not revealed it on Twitter. Like I don't understand why they started revealing. They started like Nagash posting like 3 days prior to like their big announcement. It's your big announcement. Make it a big announcement. Like make it a secret or something. Like don't just blow your load like for no reason. Like several days early. Like there was not a lot of reason to like stay up for that announcement. Like and then for the I learned my lesson, so I didn't bother staying up for the Game Awards show. And like I am so glad I did not bother staying up for the Game Awards show because like I felt bad because you know like if you were there for Warhammer 40K, you were waiting you were waiting like 4 hours or something like for like I was like luckily I was watching it on like on the side of my phone because like I was awake because like it was a good time for Japan because like it started at 9 and like by 12 they still hadn't shown the game. So I'm gonna accept that auto resolve. Maybe that's a bit lazy of me, but I actually feel like they have a lot of units. Like they still hadn't like so like if you were just waiting for 40k, you had to watch like 4 hours of game show to like get to the part where they actually reveal the 40k, and it was a 3-minute announcement, and then it was over again. It's like, I am so glad I was not streaming that, because like I don't play enough like games at the moment to like have a lot of opinion on like Clair Obscur and like blah blah blah. Like, I hear it's a good game. And I've cut that off too much. I think we're too much on the side now. I hear it's a good game, but I've never played it, so I don't have much of an opinion on it except for oui baguette français. I'm French, so I can be racist towards French people. That's how it works. So like, I hear it's a good game. I hear it's a popular game, but I've never played it, and I haven't played a lot of the like current games, right? So I don't have much of an opinion to offer. So it's like, I'm glad I would just be sitting there being like, oh, I heard this game's good. Then I'd be like, huh. And then like, considering how many games Clair Obscur won, I would have been like, huh, I hear it's a good game over and over again. So I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't bother. Yeah, it was rough for like, so when they did like the, I was born in Belgium. So same but different, you know? When they revealed, so like the game show, the UK game show, because, you know, CA and Games Workshop are a UK company. So when they did the 25th anniversary announcement, it was, yeah, it was just, it was like, it was a bit late for me, but I stayed up and then I played the DLC. So I played some Aislinn afterwards. I'm really not impressed with Aislinn. But it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, it's really awkward for most of the world. Like, all the European audience gets completely messed over by the Game Awards announcement in the time. That was not a good time for other people. It was a good time for Americans. And I understand the like eyeballs appeal of like, oh look, we got like everybody's watching the Game Awards because it's the biggest thing. But like, I don't think most people watching the Game Awards are a significant contributor to like their sales of 40k. And I think it was like something like horrific amount of money to like post it at the Game Awards, like $1 million plus. Like, I don't think I would have spent $1 million plus to like Game Awards post, but hey, I'm not in charge of the budget, so I don't make these decisions. But like, I like, especially considering that like CA loves to talk about like, oh, we have no money, we are broke. And to be fair, I think they are broke. I don't think they're just making that up. I think they are deeply broke. I think that just revealing 40k at the 25th anniversary would have still gotten them the same amount of press. But like, hey. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that like the Clair Obscur people, like anybody, like most, like Total War is a very specific niche of people. And I can say this because I'm definitely one of those. It is, I'm going to use my demographics to point this out. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. It is 25 to 34-year-old men, all of them, every single one of them. And probably autistic. At least a good chunk of them are. I definitely am, and I'd say most of them are. So I don't think it appeals to a very specific kind of gamer. And I think it's very much one of those like, if you are that kind of gamer, you probably know about it, and then you have to be convinced to play the game maybe. But if you are a strategy kind of loving gamer, you definitely know what a Total War is. So I'm going to declare war on this person because he is taking my city. So like, it is never going to be a mass market appeal game. You are never going to get the Robloxers and the Fortnite players, and I play Fortnite sometimes too, but like, you're never going to get most of them to ever play a game where you need to sit down for like that long. Yeah, sure, but I don't think that it was worth it because it's not like they revealed a game that is coming out anytime soon, but like most Game Award shows, like the main thing you do it is you do it for the like the press. So you do it for the press, but like, I'm pretty sure that the same press, you could have just talked to the same press and been like, here's our game. Like, yeah, there was a lot of eyeballs, and like 40K is a big deal. And once again, I don't know, but because the game like releases in like maybe 2 years, I don't think you can concretely tie your press release to anything specific. So who actually knows what it is or not? I'm sure someone at their marketing team thought it was worth it. I just feel like, with $1 million but marketing budget, I think there's better ways you could have like pushed the game. Like, I know that $1 million sounds like a big number, but in marketing terms, it's not huge, but like, like, you just got to be careful that like, if you hyper focus the mainstream appeal, you're going to lose the main core audience, because, you know, they're releasing the game on consoles. Well, then, you know, clearly, yeah. So like, they're releasing the game on consoles, and like, as someone who's played Halo Wars, you can play a strategy game on console. Like, it does work, but you cannot play Total War the way it is built now with a controller. It wouldn't work. So there's two possibilities. Either they dumb down the controls, option one, or they release like a console version of the game which controls differently, and the PC version of the game that controls differently. But if they dumb down the controls and they make it too, hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. If they make it too simplified, and then you're gonna lose out your core audience. And if you make it too complicated, then you're like, I don't even know why you're bothering with the console players. So it's just like, it's this complicated little balancing. Oh wait, I declared peace on him. It's this complicated little balancing act, and I'm not sure there's an easy way to do it, but I hope they're confident in their solution, because like, I understand the appeal of being like, here's the console gamers. Let's try to get into the console market. But if you water down your main game to appeal to the console gamers, like, you're left with not a lot of an audience, because like, console gamers are not an existing audience. Console gamers are a new audience. So if you change your game, which works and has a formula to appeal to the console gamers, right? Then what are you doing? Because like, maybe it's like they're not going to buy it because they don't know if they're going to buy it or not. So, look, 40K is going to sell. And that's why I knew it was never going to be Age of Sigmar. It was never going to be anything except 40K or maybe Star Wars. The issue with Star Wars is, and that the reason I knew it wasn't going to be Star Wars is like, Star Wars doesn't have the infighting you need for a Total War. Warhammer as a setting has reasons why the Grey Knights and the Space Wolves are going to fight. They have reasons why the Imperium fights all the time. You know, the Imperium has internal fighting all the time. So there is inbuilt reasons for infighting. Star Wars doesn't. So if they did like Clone Wars, there's no reason why various like good guy factions are fighting, and even the Imperials, etc. There's no real good reason why they would be infighting significantly. So like, it didn't have, and also it doesn't have the amount of factions. So like, Star Wars has like, whichever time, let's pick Clone Wars. You know, it has Separatists, it has Republic, and maybe you could do like Hutts, and you could do like the Night Sisters is like maybe like a Wood Elf stand tall kind of independent faction, but it doesn't have like, no problem. But so the advantage of 40K, let me just finish my little point though, is that, you know, you do have that faction variety and is very good, and it will sell really good because it definitely has those numbers, right? But like, it also is like, it also has significant risks. Let me move. Okay, we mostly dodged that. It does have like significant risks. Like, it's an ever-changing setting, and you are gonna appeal to a wide crowd of people. But also, like, not if that wide crowd of people are just coming in there because of 40K, maybe they lose interest in the game, so that will lead to a lot of negative reviews. But look, it's definitely gonna succeed. It is gonna succeed very significantly. They're gonna make a ton of money, and it's gonna bring a ton of new people into the game, and that's good for everything. So I completely understand why they did it, and honestly, it's the right choice to make. I would have liked Star Wars 40K. I think it would have been very fun, but I can understand logically why they didn't do it, and it honestly makes sense. And have a good night. Have a good night, Sin. Thanks for following. Thanks for participating. It's always good to have someone to chat to while you're streaming. No offense to anybody who's just watching and quiet, but like, you know, having someone who's like you can actively talk with is very good both for morale and like to like give you something to like talk about. So yeah, it's good. Let me struggle with, as I said, flankers is one thing the game can do very well. And here we go. It's a glorious example of the flank. Have a good night. And once again, if I don't see you again before Christmas, Merry Christmas. So have a good time with family, friends, or whatever. And see ya. I completely understand. You need to go. I get it. Don't worry. Good evening. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's kill the Lord. Let's lock the Lord down. I have way too many units on this flank. Probably should have put some on the other flank. Here comes the cav. Let me shoot the dogs. What's going on over here? We're good. Let's retreat that in the rear. And we've stabilized the situation. There we go. Nice and smooth. I got that. They auto-resolve terribly, but once again, auto-resolve lies to you. That's a lesson anyone should take in this game. Is like, auto-resolve will lie to you. Always. You learn that lesson when you play Skaven. Skaven are definitely one of those factions is like 99% of the time, you know, you will manually fight better unless you're fighting a legendary lord. The only exception to that is like there are some AI is very bad at calculating legendary lord powers. So if you are fighting like Vlad, for example, Vlad is going to run 19 stacks of zombies, which is going to weigh terribly, but Vlad is the powerhouse of that army. But the issue is the AI doesn't calculate, the computer math, the auto-resolve math, doesn't calculate Vlad very successfully. So in that situation, it is sometimes better to just manually resolve Vlad because it doesn't make him so annoying. But for most times, you wanna manually fight it out, but that's the calculation, especially on harder difficulties. But so you manually fight the battle because you take less losses, but at the same time it does slow down your momentum of gameplay because you're having to fight a lot of manual fights. So it depends what your preference is as a player. But like if you want to like play things optimally, then you are going to be fighting things very manually because that is the better way to do it. I want to start working on my firing drills. Let's work on my archers more than I work on my front line. That's like where the killing power is. Yeah, let's go. Let's take this. Let's work on more money. So let's take a bit of this and I will transfer that over. So that's more fit. I do need to do something with my various armies. I think I'm going to build him up. I could just... Who do I declare war on? I'm kind of at a... I'm going to push past and I'm going to declare war on these guys over here. Because I just need to keep fighting. Because as Chaos Dwarfs, you really do need to keep fighting. That's like your whole thing, right? Income from city, faction-wise, that is a good one to have. And then I want to start working on a little bit of magic with this guy. You want to work on that little bit of magic and maybe a little bit of his melee stats. So that way I actually have something to do with him. Because otherwise he just gets shot the whole game. And it's kind of uncomfortable. I will do hotter furnaces. And let's upgrade my capacity of nothing specific. You don't want to hyper-focus into one thing because, you know, it gets more expensive, so it's more efficient to maybe do something else. I'm going to do a few Fireborn, and maybe I'll run them in the future. But right now, I like focusing on my economy buildings because you'll get much better payoff for that at this stage of the game than you will just keep focusing on the military because, you know, your military is capped. So if you hyper-focus into your, like, your really good... I'm gonna do that next turn when I actually have some money to spend. If you hyper-focus into your good military... but you don't, even if you built up all the buildings to get it, you can't get so many of it. So it doesn't help you. So you want to work on your economy to get your caps going. And then when you get your caps going, then you get your power level going. So that creates this like issue with Chaos Dwarfs where the optimal way to play Chaos Dwarfs in the early game is to be running like really terrible stacks. So it doesn't, that's the issue with Chaos Dwarfs. Like a lot of factions can get a lot of power pretty early. Chaos Dwarfs, you are working for that power, right? So it creates this situation, this incentive where like you end up running very terrible units. As a friend of mine was saying like earlier on stream, like Neov was saying like early on stream, is like by playing those units that are very crappy, because you're playing with a bunch of goblins, like really crappy goblin stacks early, with only like 2 or 3 units that really do the heavy lifting, you are facing your harder battles at the start. Well, you're not playing with your exciting units at the start. But when you do start to get your exciting units towards the end of it, like you kind of don't end up being challenged by the AI, because like a late game Chaos Dwarf army will fight everything and will beat anything. So it's a very good DLC. It's a very unique DLC. It's a very powerful DLC. It's all of those things. But what it is might not be is a very well structured DLC for the way the game is built right now. Now, once again, as I've mentioned a few times now, they are going to be releasing a Nagash DLC, and with the Nagash DLC, they're going to be reworking how the endgames crises work, right? At least we hope. And if they're changing how the endgames crises work, hopefully they're going to change how the endgame works and like all of that. Because right now, you know, an endgame crisis is like, here's 30 armies, kill them. Doesn't feel, but now they're talking about more like a ramping difficulty and like maybe a climactic battle and all of those things. So if you could be challenged and you could run like, here's my really powerful stack, but even though I have a really powerful stack, it's going to be challenged. Like there's an actual challenge in the late game, but isn't just like surprise 15 armies. Like that will be very good. Now, you can in-camp stance to avoid taking attrition, and I'm just moving up and I'll take that out. I probably could have in-camp stance to take the replenishment, but I don't see an army there, so I'm just gonna move up on them. We are gonna push in. This might be a bit of a rougher fight, but I think a rougher fight is good. So I win it, but I lose everything. I am definitely not gonna lose everything by fighting this. Let's win. Minor settlements are the thing that like the game's a bit confused about. So the AI gives massive benefits to minor settlements, right? But minor settlements don't have any walls. They don't have any like defensive benefits. So like it really shouldn't calculate it as an auto result. I think it's one of those like calculations that are still in the game from back when minor settlements had a lot of walls, because they took away a lot of walls out of minor settlements. It used to be a lot of siege battles. So they minimize the amount of siege battles they have, but I think the auto result still calculates it like there's like any defensive bonus for the AI, because what it should do is it really should just calculate my army versus their army, blah, blah, blah. Now, we are going to be a little bit cheesy, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to take that corner, and we are going to camp in that corner, because they have a lot of units. And most of them are like they have a lot of invisible. You can't see most of them. A lot of them are invisible, too. So we are going to back ourselves up into that corner. We're going to be a little bit cheesy. But hey, cheesy is fun. At least this way, we are not going to suffer any sneak ups. We're not going to suffer an ogre chart bowling through my lines, and we are going to have a good time. Let's win. I'll figure out which one of these is the one I'm trying to avoid, and then I will pull them back. Everybody back. That's a lot of units over there, isn't it? So let me pull him back as well. There we go. Your standard box. Corner camp. Effective. Say what you want about the corner camp. Oh, it's not very fair play, blah, blah. It is effective, though. And sometimes when you're running on numbers and you have missiles, it's the best way to do things. Hey, for anyone watching on YouTube or on Twitch, thank you to anyone watching on either platform. Just want to say, you know, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a good time with your family. I'll be streaming tomorrow, but it'll probably be my last stream for the next few days. So, yeah, I just want to say, you know, as I just said, thank you for watching. Merry Christmas. I hope you have a good time. And feel free to comment what, like, guides. So right now on YouTube, I'm going to be doing a Miao Ying. Oh, I should be moving. I need to stop focusing on talking. I'm a bit more moving. On YouTube, I'm gonna be making my Miao Ying guide. I'm gonna be running a Gelt guide soon. So I'm not sure when, because you know, for the same reasons, I'm not gonna be streaming as much. I'm not going to be editing as much, but I need to turn my lord around. That'd probably help. But I do need to. I will be making those content. But if you want to see a specific lore, you want to see a specific faction, feel free to tell me what you want to see. I'll probably get to it at some point. As I'm sure anybody playing this game knows, there's a lot of factions in this game, right? But I'm going to get to all of them at some point. Just order. I need to morale boost over here, because otherwise we are losing the front. That didn't help. They still broke. So, you know how we're just saying we have a box and we're gonna hold that box? Where is my boy? Where's Gorbat? Backstabbers. Go, 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 go. I was hoping I could magic them back onto the field, but it turns out we are not magicking anything onto the field. We also have a bit too many units on this side. So, we need to watch out because they do have a few units flanking us still. So we can just do that. We broke their lord down, that's good. And because they have so little entities in their ogres left, you can just cast Spirit Leech and still get good value out of it, even though technically you shouldn't be using Spirit Leech for that. Now, let's rotate. Let's rotate the gunner, the archer squares. There we go. Let's open fire. Let's open wide. We are definitely taking some losses. The good news is because they broke so easily, they didn't take so many casualties, so they're not dead, but they are just not useful. Let me keep pulling men over to the fight, the main fight. I don't want to leave myself too exposed, but yeah, let's win this. What are you doing over here? Go back into the fight, please. What are you doing over here? It's like the orders that you gave me, Master. No, 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 no. You should have reacted better. Let's go. Now they have quite a lot of slingers shooting at me, don't they? Do I want to focus? I think I do want to focus that down. Let me shoot at some slingers. Let's shoot at the back line. Let me pull them out. Okay, we've got one more Spirit Leech. They don't really have anything left to Spirit Leech. I'll make sure those guys stay dead. Spirit Leech is really not... When it's 120, as much as I'm like, oh, sometimes it's good to use less optimal spells on people because you get the morale debuff of being casted on. Spirit Leech on 120 units is definitely not the most efficient use of my time. I do need to shoot these guys down because they are going to break free. We are winning, but we are also taking a few losses along the way. Let's go. There we go. We broke the front line. Let's keep shooting at the back line then, and we'll turn this around. Let's do this. Go. There we go. That was clean. I think mostly we did take a lot of frontline losses, but nobody died. Nobody died. That's the important part. As long as nobody dies, you can replenish. It's when you lose like entities that like that sucks. Like full arm, like units. Okay. That's good. Checking. My YouTube video is picking up. That's good. So my guide on like which empire units are good. I don't want to do too many tier lists, but you know, tier lists are useful because you don't have to edit them so much. You can get like, I'm not slopping it out right, but like you can edit a tier list and like it's still very valuable, but like it stays on the editing because like editing is the biggest part of like YouTube that I'm like struggling with. Is like just like editing everything down. It takes a second, but we're getting there. We're almost at the point where we are monetized. That's a good start. We are just gonna like, there we go. That's a lot of captives. That is good. We are gonna conquer that. We'll build another outpost. I'm not sure if I'm. There we go. We got a goblin building. That's good. We can hire more. I want to hire a few more of the shielded ones to act as the frontliners. Good. That's good. He is on my lands, but well, she's on my lands, but we'll ignore her for now. At some point, I might want to deal with that. Let me move over some of these men. Over there. So yeah, we'll attack next turn. Let's keep building. I don't need to upgrade that because there's not so much you need. Like you can do very well with the early goblin units, and I prefer that over like the cavalry goblins. I don't want to kick out anybody right now. Oh, I do have money to do a convoy now. That's good. Let me do a convoy. We take that guy. Yeah, let's just keep training up one very powerful No, you know what? Let's train up a second convoy. Because late game you can run several convoys, right? So you don't want to always like focus on one. Yeah, let's do that. And let's just do the money for slaves. There we go, dispatch. That's a good full convoy. They take forever because the map is so big, but at the same time, once again, we get to explore so much of the map through our various convoys. Hey, Caravan of the New Blue Roses, sure. You know what? No, we're good. You know what? Chaff goblins, chaff zombies is definitely what we want. Look at this map, folks. If you're not familiar with the mod we're playing with, it is like a mega map. There's some really cool stuff going on. Look at that. This is what the Chaos Dwarf lands look like in this mod compared to base Chaos Dwarf. There's a lot going on. It's fun. It's a great mod. And the turn rotating, take a second. Not gonna deny it, but it's a good thing to do. Yeah. Let's keep going though. Let's do the one. I think we're hoping. Let's do one last battle. Let's try to find one last battle for us to do. I think I want to take that ogre settlement, but I don't think there's much of a battle going to be found there. And then we'll end on a high. We'll end on a high. Oh, he wants to non-aggression me. No. Screw that. We're gonna take all of your lands, buddy. It's my lands now. I don't think we'll have time to finish that fight today, so we'll probably do it tomorrow. But yeah. Let's do the smaller fight at the tree. Just my son going, wah! He's with his mom. Great. He's a good kid. He's a very good kid. Let's do this. That is the issue. Like, it's a very fun mod, but if they could just get the performance down a little bit, ooh, it'd be a good difference. Maybe like another way they could do it is like, hey, you want to try your new starting location, but maybe like the map, like I'm never gonna get to the other like side of this map in this game mode. So maybe they could like cut down. You could like select a section of the map to play in, so you still get a new starting location. You get new enemies and stuff. Maybe you're not quite loading like. Calculating the whole map and everything that's involved. I feel like that's something they could try to do. He's like, once again, the advantage of this mod for a lot of factions is that you have new starting enemies, you have new things. It's a bit different. Like for example, Ikit has a much better starting location than where he starts in Immortal Empires. So it adds something to it. Like there we go. Let me show you. Like for those who like, you see this map? This is the map we're playing on. Look at this. Like it is huge. We are playing on a little tiny corner of it, and it is really massive. But at the same time, that massiveness does come at the cost of like you are generating that whole world and all the turns and like all the decisions. So pros and cons, right? Can I just in-cam stance my way into the forest? Yeah, we're just gonna in-cam stance over here. I think we can handle that. We'll handle that tomorrow though. Let's go take this new. Oh, he's a pretty strong force over here. I'm attacking. I don't mind. We're going ball. You know, we're going. Fuck the consequences. We are gonna take it. We're gonna build a factory here. There we are. He owns that, and then that one over there. So we need to conquer this new region. That'll be good. I have an imminent rebellion. That's not good though. Here, Savage Waste. You know what? It's a good opportunity to train up some men. So that's some good slaves if I've ever seen it. Let me train up some real units. There we go. We'll defeat whatever spawns in. That'll be good. And should I? No, I don't have time. I think, folks, we are leaving at this point. I don't have time to do the next battle. So thank you for everyone watching. Merry Christmas. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more streams, a lot more content on Total War, both on YouTube, like videos and streaming. So just feel free to subscribe. You won't regret it. And yeah, Merry Christmas, as I said. Thank you for watching. For anybody who talked or anybody who just watched, it's always good to have people. Thank you. And Merry Christmas. I think I already said that a few times, but you know, it's not a bad thing to say Merry Christmas again. Let's reduce rations and let's build up that tree over here. Thank you for watching. We got the rebellion. We don't care. Yeah, let's end the stream here.